remain standing for the national anthem of the United States of America, played by Shannon Quickly.
Ready for hockey here, 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. We're at the Houston Fieldhouse for a big game. RPI and Dartmouth. The Engineers have not beaten the Big Green since 2014. That's an 0-8-1 record over the last 9 meetings. And while the RPI Engineers all-time, Joe, they still have a series lead, but it's dwindling with that 46 wins for RPI, 42 losses 6 times between these two teams. But RPI trying to get back on the winning side of the column here.
Yeah, and I think if you're a senior class, if you're the senior class, you're a big group, about 8 of them on the team here. You talk about making check marks. Last week they got to check off the Mayor's Cup. This weekend you want to check off Dartmouth. You don't want to be the class that never got to beat Dartmouth. And then of course it's freak out weekend too, and not to mention RPI hasn't won a freak out game in 5 years, which they also have a very strong record in overall. But recently it's been dwindling. So I think this is, Coach talked about it in the pregame interview, but this is a game in a series where you want your Polinos, your Zekis to really start to take off and put the team on their back.
In goal tonight for Dartmouth, it'll be Adrian Clark, senior out of Toronto. He is 10-5-4 with a .279 goals against average and a .908 save percentage. For RPI, Owen Savory, red hot, the sophomore from Cambridge, Ontario, 6-7-2 on the year, .243 goals against, .914 save percentage. We are underway as the puck is chipped into the far corner of the RPI zone. Corey Babichuk, freshman from Edmonton, chases after it, pokes around to the near side, where it's flipped up the wall by Tour Linden and out to center for Todd Burgess. He takes a bit of a hit there from Rutherford. Back into the Dartmouth zone and wraps around to the far side. Pinching in Will Riley, senior captain from Toronto, works it deeper. Taken away, however, by the Big Green. And Drew O'Connor, sophomore from Chatham, New Jersey, trying to throw it cross ice, broken up by Linden. The RPI forecheck causing some early problems. Finally chipped to center, now breaking in. Almost, it hopped over the stick of Connor. He might have broke in on a breakaway. Just wasn't able to corral that pass. Now loose top of the zone, shot blocked into the far corner. The stick of Mark Gallant there. It'll be worked to the near side half wall and moved towards the point out to center by Burgess. Back to pick it up in his own zone. Joey Matthews, junior from Columbia, Illinois. Matthews into the zone, finally lost out to the Engineers there, and Riley works it back the other way. To the Dartmouth blue line, quickly swept along. This is going to be icing, I believe, on Dartmouth. And we get our first whistle of the contest. 1 minute and 13 seconds in, no score.
Yeah, so Drew O'Connor there almost sneaking in behind Jake Morello and getting a scoring chance there. Hopped over his stick, so lucky break there for the Engineers. But Drew O'Connor showing that he is the real deal. 48 points in 54 career games.
It's nice if you can have an ECAC hockey player at almost a point a game, as Ferner nearly lost an edge of the blue line, but regathers and shoots it deep. It'll wrap around to the near side for Will Graber for Dartmouth, and RPI fans don't want to hear from him tonight. Hat tricks and back-to-back trips to the Houston Fieldhouse. He's now playing defense, so RPI can take some solace in that. As it's Zach Dubinsky to center, tapped along there, regathered it in the neutral zone by Jeffrey Luzardo. He'll throw it into the zone off the boards, over to help out Dubinsky. Up the wall, kept in by Luzardo. And now flipped out, rolling puck back into the big green end of the ice. Brock Paul back to get it, freshman from Carmel, Indiana. A point in 13 games, nearly gave it away inside the zone. Lappin couldn't corral. Dartmouth in the end shoots it deep. Bouncing puck in the near side circle of the RPI zone. Jake Johnson there, sophomore from Bloomington, Minnesota, wraps it around to the far side, out of the reach of Hallbauer. He goes over to try and get it. He's met by a pair of big green, and finally pushed ahead to Lappin, makes a move at his own blue line, forces it out to center. Now picked up by Gornell. Back to Johnson, near side Lappinen. Otto-Ville Lappinen, touch pass for Ashbrook. Ashbrook on his backhand, trying to feed it out in front, goes around the net, gives it back to Lappinen. His shot tipped up to the far side glass. To the far side corner now. Moved along and moved out by Sam Hessler. Sophomore from Boxborough, Massachusetts, only gets it far as the neutral zone where it's picked up by Lappinen. Gornell trying to chip it deep and does. Back to grab it there, Brendan Lass, a junior out of Kentland, New Jersey. Leads the team in plus-minus at +8. And he'll handle behind his own goal, waiting to start the breakout for Dartmouth. They'll try the near side. Off the boards, carried in now by Campbell. Tyler Campbell gets wrapped up by Shelberg. Now, not Ken Klee, that's his son. Mason Klee gets tripped up in his own zone, but it'll be swatted into the Dartmouth end. Danny DeGrande over to grab it there. He's wrapped up by Graber. Here's Billy Jerry along the boards. At the half wall. DeGrande down low, looking for Herman. He takes over in the far corner, back to the point. Nice handle there by Klee. He'll carry it near side. Mason Klee on the move. Gonna chip it deeper. He's looking more and more like his dad, I should say, with every game he plays here. But anyway, back to the RPI zone. Is picked up by Shelberg. Herman. He goes across to Billy Jerry. Nice move by Jerry in neutral ice. Gets it deep. Not quite 4 minutes in. No score here. RPI and Dartmouth. Shot along far side, carried into the zone by Foreman. Drops it back. Quick shot and a save there by Savory. First time he's been tested. Just about the 4-minute mark. He made an easy right pad save. Now RPI has it behind its own goal. Riley up the boards, trying to find Burgess. Has a step. Burgess walking in. Now he's cut off. Takes a shot. And a right toe stop made by the senior goalie Clark. Far side, Markle lost it. And Morello couldn't keep it. Now fighting back to win it. Nice job by Linden. Trying to go cross ice. It does to the point. Riley a shot. And a blocker saved by Clark. Chopped at by Markle. Up the near side wall and out to center. And now Babachuk nearly gave it away. And it'll be played ahead to Burgess. And he'll stick handle to center ice. Given away there by to Lass. And he'll turn back towards his own end. Moved ahead by the big green. It'll be carried in by Foreman, and if he carried it in, they would have been offside. He elects to stick handle back out to center, picked up by Johnson. Here is Jake Johnson for RPI. Try the near side for Dubinsky. Off the stick of Zeke. Back the other way come the big green as it's pushed back into the Dartmouth end. Now chipped back to Hallbauer at center ice. He's wrapped up hard there by Matt Baker. Forcing up the wall is Hallbauer. Chipped back into the RPI zone, and Johnson will try and corral a bouncing puck. Moved into the slot. Now Johnson looked like he might have taken his man down. That was Baker. No call. We play on. Polino trying to glove it at center. That should be a hand pass. There it is. We do get a stoppage in play.
That's the first stoppage in about 6 minutes after the first icing early in the game. And what I noticed in that first sequence was RPI came in, they looked a little hesitant against the Drew O'Connor line, but then after that first shift, it was right back. They almost seemed like they just found their confidence. They're like, wait, we're RPI, we're fifth in the ECAC right now. We're only 1 point behind them in the standings, and we just won the Mayor's Cup. So it seemed like they really got their swagger back, and Tristan Ashbrook with a beautiful setup there for Lappinen. He completely faked out Adrian Clark. He went behind the net and then flicked it back behind to Lappinen for a good chance that just went wide. But if you're RPI, you need to stay creative because Dartmouth plays a very close checking game. They're strong on the forecheck, and you got to be creative if you're gonna make some scoring chances. So I like what I saw from Ashbrook on that shift.
Yeah, RPI continue to play pretty good defense there, although O'Connor nearly broke in there the first couple minutes.
Yeah, that was a very lucky bounce for RPI for that to flip over his stick, because that could have been a quick start to the game for Dartmouth. And as I mentioned, it looked like RPI was a little timid against that O'Connor line on the very first shift, but then he came out again and they were right in his face, no problem at all.
Face-off coming up in the RPI zone to the right of Owen Savory. In the month of January, he's been hot, as I mentioned, 3-0-1 record, a 0.49 goals against average, and a 983 save percentage. That's 113 saves on 115 shots. He's allowed 1 goal very late against Brown, breaking up his 3 straight shutout bid. And then he gave up 1 against Union. There's a shot from the point, saved by Savory, trying to scrap for the rebound. The whistle comes, and they were still scrapping for that puck. Dartmouth will beg to differ on that whistle, but the referee behind the play made the call. It was under Savory's glove for a moment there.
Yeah, Cam Strong there trying to live up to his name and dig the puck out of Savory, but Savory holding strong himself.
14-18 on the clock, first period, no score. RPI and Dartmouth on a freak-out weekend. Some RPI alums already in the building, expecting close to 40, maybe more, to take the ice between periods tomorrow night. To honor those, there's a shot from Burgess. RPI's offside. They are honoring the 1995 ECAC Hockey Championship team, the last conference championship. Engineers trying to make it another one this year.
Hey Perry, is there a chance we get to see you out on the ice tomorrow? I know you're not an RPI hockey alum, but I mean, at this point, you might as well be.
No, and I will not be out anywhere. I'll be sitting right here. Thanks, Joe. I might be taking pictures of the alumni game, but that's about it.
Man.
Neutral ice. They don't want me out there. Neutral ice face-off will be rung in by the Engineers. Around to the far side, kept in at the blue line as it's hammered wide by Riley. Around to the near side, Linden throws a hit. Big green chip at the center, back into the Engineers' end. Now it's Riley. Former Nanaimo Clipper will shoot up the boards. Nice connection to Burgess. Burgess trying the near side. Indirect to Linden, who chips it deep. Back behind his own goal. Brendan Demler gave it away. Shot from the point, and a try there from Ashbrook. I think it hit a skate. I don't think it ever got to Clark. Tie up along the far wall. Engineers trying to get it deep. It's intercepted. Near side, Campbell. Moved in by Foreman. He can't get away from Babichuk. And now Babichuk, who just reached the double-digit point plateau against Union on Saturday. 10 on the season ahead for Leppinen. Leppinen trying to navigate the offensive zone. Poked off his stick there by O'Connor. Back come the big green, although it's turned right back over at the RPI blue line. Chelberg tipped along for Ashbrook into the zone. Chance for a 2-on-1. Ashbrook across. A shot! Oh, it's put wide by Gornell. He had an opportunity there, just missed the net. And now Chelberg, far point, Ferner, a wrister, and a glove save by Clark. May have been headed wide, but he saw it all the way. 12:56 to go in the first period, no score.
I mean, we've talked about it a bunch, but Gornell and Ashbrook, really, they've been on the same page in this last month or so. I mean, they don't even, it's like they're twins. They don't even have to talk to each other. They don't even have to look at each other. They know exactly where the other one's going to be. As Ashbrook backhands that through the slot to get it out for a one-timer for Gornell.
Here's Chelberg at the near point. A high shot held onto, pinned against the chest by Clark. And Adrian Clark, he's shown, he's been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. His numbers aren't terrific. I was talking to the staff up here before the game. 279 goals against, 908 save percentage. But he's been just enough for this team to go. He's got a pretty good record, 10-5-4. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, fourth in the ECAC, currently sitting in a home playoff spot. Can't complain, especially when you can count on your goaltender.
Chelberg makes a move at the point. Chelberg walking in, a shot deflects into the netting. We saw him do that against Clarkson a few weeks ago. That's how he scored his 4th goal of the year. He just a little shoulder fake to get some room. Get yourself a better angle, take a shot. Just unlucky there, hit a body. Yeah,
and I think Dartmouth, you mentioned Clark being Jekyll and Hyde. Dartmouth also Jekyll and Hyde on the road and at home. 3-5-2 on the road, and then 7-1-2 at home.
Face-off win for the Big Green. Shot off the glass out to center by Graber. Battling forward is Ferner right in front of his own bench. And now DeGrande helping out. Taken over by Graber. He goes D to D along his own blue line. Chipped ahead by Matthews. Into the RPI zone they go. Poked away from Hessler. Behind the goal. Wraps around for Graber, who pinches up the wall. Will Graber in the circle makes a move. Lost the handle. Picked up there by DeGrande. Near side for Herman. Herman into the zone, takes a wrist shot, big rebound, spilled to the far circle. Jerry couldn't get there. Defended well by the diminutive Joey Matthews. And now up the near side boards comes Dartmouth. They get it as far as center. Shot back in by Jerry. Spinning puck comes down behind the goal, picked up by Graber. He's met with a big hit by Polino. And then Polino gets run into by Hessler, or make that to Urbank rather. At the near side point, Johnson holds the line well. Big Green take over and fire it to center ice. Here is Hessler. He'll just dump it in as Dartmouth wants to get it changed. Savory hands it off. Played up the wall for Polino. Snap pass back for Hallbauer. And the sophomore from Howell, New Jersey will stick handle it near side. Now hand off to Johnson. Johnson through the middle. That's intercepted. Back comes Hahn into the zone. Near side Rutherford. Shot and a save by Savory off the far glass. Reaching for it is the Avon, Connecticut native, Chase Zeke, but he lost out. Good poke check there by Hallbauer. He falls down. Dubinsky over to give it a whack. And now played behind by Gallant. Around to the near side. Pitching in was Les. Does the job to at least get it deep, and now Hallbauer. Up the boards. Good connection to Zeke. Zeke makes a move at center, firing it near side neatly to Dubinsky. He lost the handle before fanning on the shot, as he didn't realize he didn't have the puck anymore. Zeke does a good job to get the puck deep so RPI can complete its change safely. Stick handling to center is Palisic. And he'll work it deep before Dartmouth changes as well. Near side boards behind Morello. Doesn't leave the zone, in fact. He'll be picked up by Riley. Will Riley down the middle off the stick of Linden. Turned around quickly by Paul. Paul ahead. Moving in O'Connor. It's poked off his stick. Loose in the slot. Bouncing there. Who can find it? Savory trying to juggle, and it's finally poked away as Morello sweeps it out of danger towards the point off the glove of Paul. That'll be a hand pass, or it should have been. O'Connor takes over at neutral ice, and he ices it. 10:05 to go. We're just about halfway through the first period. No score. RPI and Dartmouth. 6-4 the shots in favor of the Engineers.
Yeah, Dartmouth with another broken chance there. Puck was bouncing all over the place, and all of a sudden there were two big Green players sitting in front of Savory. But again, he's been standing on his head lately and able to corral the puck and get it out of danger with the help of Morello.
Shot by Johnson. The blocker save. Don't know if Clark saw that right away, but it was in good position. And now O'Connor hands it off to Paul. Trying to navigate the near side of his own zone. Broken up by Ashbrook. Trying to go cross ice. Knocked down by Gallant. Taken over in the end by O'Connor. Up the near side boards. Broken up by Johnson. Sent back in by the Big Green. Savory near side for Johnson. Down the middle for Leppinen. Up ahead for Gornell into the zone near side. Shielding the puck in the near corner. Gornell around the net. Still Gornell on it. Hands it off there for Klee. Klee in front. And he just misfired on the pass to Ashbrook. And the righty shot. Couldn't quite handle that one. No, a nice move by Ashbrook to get through. Dropped it back, and a little bit too much on the creativity there from Tristan Ashbrook. We see him with some nice stick handling moves. One of them right there. Get himself free. And now Herman trying to force his way into the zone. He gets wrapped up, stays on the puck. Rory Herman battles along the wall, swatted out of the air to the near side corner. As taking a hit there was Lacerdo. Centering pass, one-time stop by Clark. Oh my! Brady Ferner was robbed.
Great sequences of play there from RPI. Mike Gornell doing a really smart play, taking it in from the blue line, being patient with the puck, guarding it with his stick, not just dumping it into the corner, waiting for his teammates to come in on sides, and then had his head up the whole time, but was able to continue to shield the puck effectively, circled all the way around behind the net, and then was able to set up a great scoring chance. Unfortunately, RPI unable to cash in on that one. Really 2 or 3 in that last sequence there. They kept it in at the blue line in the corner with Ashbrook, and then Ashbrook made a couple nifty moves, and then again tried centering it, but right to a Big Green player. But again, you gotta like the way they're thinking. They're thinking with their heads up, heads on a swivel, looking around for everybody at all times, and everybody's on the same page. I think it's one more connection, one more connected pass, and the puck's in the back of the net because they're looking around. I don't think it's not like they're trying to pass too much. It's not that it's an extra pass. I just think you got to credit the Big Green defense. They've been seeing where the Engineers are going.
Shots are 8-4 RPI. As we are about to drop the puck in the Dartmouth zone. Under 9 to play in the first period. Here is Eric Urbank of Lakeview, New York. Works up the near side. Taken over by the Engineers at their own blue line. Herman in the middle of the ice. Chipping into the far corner and chasing on his own. He's met there by Less. Puck comes to the near side corner. Ooh, a high hit from DeGrande. Fans enjoy that. As he looked like he might have got his elbow up a little bit there, but nothing the referee saw. Wrong with the hit. Face-off coming up again in the Dartmouth zone.
Yeah, he might have gotten away with that there just because I think it was more of him guarding the puck than it wasn't like a targeting hit. So I think that, and it wasn't really a super tough hard hit, so that may have been why he got away with it.
Yeah, he might not have made contact either. Here's a quick wrist shot from Polino high and wide. Kept in by Ferner on the pinch. He'll wrap it behind the goal. Comes down off the gas with another hit by Polino. That's his second sizable hit in this game. He's knocked both Graber and then most recently that was Baker to the ice. This is going to be another icing here on Dartmouth. Engineers with a strong start to this game. We're 12 minutes in, and they've had the better of the chances and the shots totals.
Yeah, and you want to keep that up all game, but you also want to make sure that you're not getting too aggressive in the offensive zone as a result, and getting frustrated with not scoring on these chances, allowing Dartmouth to get an odd man rush and pop one in.
Face-off win for RPI. Worked it down low. Here's Morello out of the corner, looking to center. One-timer Burgess, and he didn't catch it cleanly as it flew over the top. Now Kjellberg lost it in his skates and has to go back out to center to regather. Simon Kjellberg, freshman from Nashville, and a draft choice of the New York Rangers. Have to be happy with what they've seen so far from the freshman. 10 points on the season, and already a ECAC Rookie of the Month back in October. Here's a shot by Kjellberg. Takes a deflection to the far post. Now it's flipped to center. Kjellberg does a nice job cutting across to cut it off. Shoots it back into the Dartmouth zone. Gathered there by Demler. Fed near side for Paul. Paul shoots it from center, wide of Savory. Not all that busy so far for Owen Savory. A bit reminiscent of the Mayor's Cup, although around this point in the game is when Union started to ramp things up. There's a stick save, but pretty easy there for Owen Savory. Rutherford trying to move it back into the zone. Gets a bounce shot coming, saved by Savory. In on the hands by Tyler Campbell. Freshman out of Winnipeg, and now a tie-up along the far side wall. Picked up by Tristan Ashbrook out of Manistee, Michigan. Developed some pretty good chemistry with Gornall and Lappinen, although he fires this one through Gornall's legs for an icing. 6:44 on the clock. No score first period, but a pretty fast-paced game so far, Joe. Pretty clean.
Yeah, very fast-paced. A lot of up and down action. Not too many offsides. I think maybe 2 or 3 that we've seen in the game, but certainly not a high number. And last couple icings here and there. But again, just a lot of clean play. Passes are connecting on both sides, and it's resulting in an up and down matchup.
Face-off win for RPI, but they give it away at the blue line. Quinn Foreman trying to move in, poked away by Riley. Foreman gets it back in the high slot, looking for a lane, takes a shot, looking for a tip. And that was O'Connor now trying to jam it in. Another shot flipped wide, and that was Gallant. Now they throw it out in front again, and a pad save by Savory, kick to the corner. Dartmouth getting some in-close looks here. Not what you wanted for RPI. Now a big hit by Gornall. Thrown behind the goal, but it's given away. Centering pass broken up by Lappinen. He's tripped up. Savory wants a call as an Engineer down in the corner. Slow to get up is Kjellberg, and finally RPI ices it. Dartmouth has to get back to initiate the whistle. 6:01 on the clock, and that's as good as Dartmouth has looked. Almost as like, I didn't mean to call that, Joe, but this is about when Union started to pick up their play. RPI had the better play for the first, 2/3 of the first period last Saturday, and now Dartmouth with their best few chances.
Yeah, I think that was Will Riley with that turnover there at the blue line. He immediately tried to fix his mistake, charging up and forcing the play there, but
there's a shot wide off the side of the net from Palisic. Wrapped around to the near side and back to center. Palisic wrapped up, but he does enough to get it deep. He is the star freshman for this Dartmouth team, Tanner Palisic. Alaquipa, Pennsylvania. Now with a hit behind on Morello. Behind the RPI net, thrown to the far point. Some room for Klee. Takes a shot. He put it wide. Chopped to the near side. And it's back out to center. Palisic, the reigning ECAC Hockey Rookie of the Week, scored his first career goal against Dartmouth last weekend. 14 assists, leads the team. There's a tip just wide. Burgess on the shot from the point by Morello. It'll wrap around to the near corner. Morello comes in to try and find it. Burgess is there. And now Burgess along the wall, back to the point. Ferner looking for a lane, pulls it back. Trying to make a move. Lost out in the end as it's cleared but not out of the zone by Lacerdo. And finally it's back out to center ice. Spinning with it is Jerry right in front of his own bench. It's broken up and hops into the bench. And we get a stoppage in play. 4:52 to go first period. Dartmouth has taken over the shots lead as we speak here, 10-9. And we get immediate stoppage.
You know, Perry, you were talking about Mason Klee looking more and more like his father every week, and I can't agree more. He just looks like every time he steps on the ice, he's a little more confident. He's a little more aggressive, jumping up on the play, getting into the slot area or going in on the forecheck, and that's what you want from your young defenseman. When you got Shelberg and Babachuk, both freshmen with 10 points apiece. Klee's just got 1 assist, but it was. I mean, you can see the potential there with Klee. He's listed at 6'2", 195, so he's got good size. And, of course, the pedigree of having a father that played in the show.
That doesn't hurt. Yeah, freak out tomorrow, Joe. Vermont is in town.
Tell us the stat. Tell us.
You want?
This is. Well, we saw it on the Twitter feed earlier this week. I know you've been dying to say it.
No, it's just that Vermont has played in 3 freakouts. 2 in the 90s, 1 in the early 2000s. They've all been 2-2 ties, which is very bizarre. So RPI looks to get their first win against Vermont in a Big Red freakout. Vermont used to be an ECAC hockey team, but not all that long ago. But
tomorrow will not be an ECAC.
No, will not. Nope, because they're in Hockey East now. Anyway, center ice draw. We're 5-on-5 here with under 5 to go in the first period. There's a shot that was headed wide from Lacerdo, held onto by Savory.
Yeah, shots now 9 for RPI and 11 for Dartmouth, so they flipped the script on that. RPI will by 1 point double Dartmouth 8-4. But I think Savory there was just happy to see a clean shot, not a big scramble in front of the net. He was able to just glove that down.
Draw here to the left of Savory. The shot by Lacerdo was Dartmouth's 11th of the period. Now right out in front, a chance for Lacerdo. Oh, Savory in that left pad along the ice. Keep this one scoreless now. Back comes Zeke for RPI. 3-on-2 as they hit the line. Cross ice feed in the air, broken up and cleared to the far side. Dubinsky trying to swat it deeper. Gets some help over there from Johnson to keep it in the zone. Far side ahead for Zeke in the circle. Zeke carries back to the point, trying to work it in deep, and does. Behind the goal, Polino tripped up. Referees have allowed a lot to go on in this game. And that's thrown high off the glass out to center. Poked at by Hallbauer, played by Johnson behind everybody. Lacerdo picks it up at the RPI blue line and spins it into the zone. Knocked down there by Johnson. Jake Johnson on the move. 2 assists on the season for the sophomore, who had a goal and 2 assists last year. And we get a stoppage in play here.
Yeah, one of the things I'm noticing is that RPI is doing a great job of holding the blue line on the offensive end. They're getting extra possessions in the offensive zone as a result. But another thing that they've not done well in this period is that they've not done a good job of cleaning out the front of the net, and it's allowed Dartmouth to get some second chance opportunities.
There's a broken stick on a shot right off the draw. Now another shot and a blocker save as Savory saw that one all the way. Chip towards the blue line and out to center ice. Shot back in by the big green, scooped up by Savory. He elects to play off for Johnson. Still with the laid offside. Foreman didn't realize he needed to touch up. Now he does. Doesn't matter as the Engineers are back the other way. Palisic scoops it around to the far side one-handed. Ahead for Gallant. Stolen away momentarily by Burgess. Now out to Morello. A shot and he fired it wide from the slot. Morello now behind the goal. Twisting and turning. Senior out of Slingerlands, New York. Chops it to the near side for Linden. Up the boards towards the point where it's kept in by Burgess on the cross corner dump. Far side corner, Morello to the slot. A shot in the pad save made by Clark. Burgess, far side circle now. Up top, Riley. Quick snapshot. Looks for the redirection. Turn it, and he scores! Oh, play! 2 Stuart Linden with some quick hands, had it behind the net, stuffed it past Clark. It's 1-0 RPI.
And that'll be Linden's 4th goal of the season and 9th point on the season as he looks to get closer to the decade mark with the rest of the RPI engineers that are right there. And on that play, you knew that line was going to get a goal because Morello came in with a non-stop motor. He had a great shot on the one-timer chance, and then he immediately ran behind the net to dig it out. RPI kept possession on the puck, again, holding it in on the forecheck, creating turnovers with their aggressive forecheck, and as a result, they get the early 1-0 lead.
Center ice draw here. We're back to action. Stuart Linden didn't think he was going to have time to pull it back from where he was. He was behind the goal. He had to reach back out in front and stick it past Clark before he could get to the post. Just barely did. And now a chance for DeGrande, centering for Herman to the far side of the net. It's swept away by Matthews. Herman along the boards, chipped off the wall, out to center, gathered up by Ferner. He'll go D-to-D neutral zone for Chelberg. Chipped into the zone by DeGrande, and he's on the chase. Graber behind the net, trying to stick handle. He's met by Jerry, stolen away for a second by Herman, but he overskates and taken back the other way. Campbell, near side. Matthews took a hit. Going backwards with it is Hahn. Far side, tipped deep by Paul, and RPI will chase it down. Hallbauer there. Directed to the far side by Gornall, who was shouting at him. Moved up the wall into the skates of Gornall, now picked up by Ferner. Ferner chips it to the Dartmouth line. Juggling puck, picked up there. Gornall turns towards the near side circle. Back to the point, into the slot. Shot Ashbrook, a save by Clark. Rebound tip to the far side. Now Urbank's wrapped up. Pops free to the far half wall and moved out to center by Dartmouth senior Cam Strong. Turned around by the engineers at neutral ice. Ashbrook trying to jump on it there. Runs into Urbank. Now tie up there by Lepinen. Lepinen and Urbank tap back to the point. Johnson will step into a wrist shot, a save made by Clark. Into the far corner it goes. Gornall down low, losing an edge and going down was Hahn. He's wrapped up now by Ashbrook. Minute 20 to go in the first period. 1-0 RPI. To the point. Wrist shot blocked out of play. Hallbauer was just trying to get it deep, but Strong stepped in to break things up. Face-off coming up again in the Dartmouth zone.
And I think what's huge here is RPI gets that first goal after definitely leading with they had a lot of scoring chances, but they were unable to cash in, and finally they do. And what I noticed was Coach Smith put out the Herman DeGrande Jerry line right after that goal, and they went in immediately on the forecheck with a ton of energy. And that's what you want. You can't bottleneck. You have to continue to press after scoring.
Fired in by Babachuk, wide and out to center. Come the big green. Daniel Warpeka. He'll pull up at the half wall to the point. One-timer Matthews, and that's tipped over the top. Picked up by Zeke. He'll carry behind the RPI goal. Chase Zeke scoops it out to center ice and past everybody. This is going to be icing on RPI as Polino was getting in a bit of a tangle there with Joey Matthews, so he couldn't get to that one.
Again, just talking about the pressure. Dartmouth is they're 4th in the ECAC right now. They're a very strong team, 7-4-1 in league play. They're not going to go away. So RPA has to continue to put the gas on. They can't hang back against this team at all.
Shots are 15-14 Dartmouth, but RPI leads 1-0 with 46.9 left in the first period. Defensive zone face-off win for the Engineers. Zach Dubinsky. Now Will Riley zings it through Polino. It's on goal. And Clark's going to have to cover this one up, and a bit of a break there for RPI. It would have been icing on the Engineers if that had missed the net.
Yeah, and Big Green looked like they were trying to get a little pushback as well after giving up the late goal here. So a very much needed bounce for RPI.
Draw here to the right of Clark. Tap to the bottom of the circle. Lass will move it towards the line, but not out of the zone. Burgess to down low, looking for Linden. And maybe one too many passes there from Burgess as he was all alone in the slot, trying to find Linden for the tap in down low. Linden again trying to center. That's out in front of Burgess. He can't corral. Back comes Dartmouth. Quinn Foreman chipping towards the net, poked away by Savory. Stepping around the check was Baker. RPI trying to break out. They have numbers if they do, but it's broken up by Dartmouth. Quickly moved ahead, now a chance for a 2-on-1 for the Big Green. Centering pass, they score. Tapped home by Foreman right before the horn. And a big lapse there turns into a goal for Dartmouth. 1-1 after one. So they're probably going to have to put some time back on the clock here.
Yeah.
Just for a face-off. But anyway, huge play there and a 2-on-1 for the Big Green. Quinn Foreman picking up goal number 8 on the year here.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be 1-0 going into the period, but I mean, not much Savory can do there. Great pass across to Foreman. As they're going to review this, but I think it's pretty obvious that it definitely got in. It was a buzzer beater. But again, just showing right now that this is a team that's not going to go away. Last weekend they skated toe-to-toe with Big Red. They ended up losing 3-2 eventually, but they're one of the top teams in the conference right now, and they're not going to go away. So RPI can't have the mental lapses that we just saw right there that are going to lead to those odd man scoring chances, because the puck earlier in the period, the puck jumped over the stick of O'Connor, and so if that didn't happen, he would have had a breakaway chance. And then just now we saw what they can do when they get the odd man rush.
That was as easy as they come for Quinn Foreman. And I don't think this review will take very long. It was clearly hit the back of the net, and then we heard the horn. There was no delay. So we will stick with the broadcast before we go to break. We'll get the decisions, what I'll say. We're not going to assume anything, even though it's a pretty fair assumption at this point, Joe, as the replay is being shown here for us here on RPI TV on the monitor. Yeah, the clock's not on the board, but they have a clock down where they're reviewing the goal. I believe they're going to have to drop the puck again, because you can't have there's no buzzer beater. Yeah, there's no buzzer beater in hockey. So 0.4 seconds when the goal was scored. That's a good goal. Almost no reaction. I don't think anyone was surprised. They're going to have to drop the puck again. Want to remind you, in our first intermission, I have my interview I recorded earlier today with RPI head coach Adam Clinton. The Engineers men's soccer team is getting honored between periods here in this game for their play last fall. So I did about 11 minutes of a chat here with Adam Clinton. Our second intermission, Nathan Wells from NCAA.com, who writes for NCAA about the NCAA tournament and college hockey in general. He's worked for a number of publications. He'll be on Talking Hockey in our second intermission live here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Anyway, thoughts before we go to break, Joe? Just
kind of a deflating end to a very strong period. I like that the referees they're keeping the game moving tonight. Even between the icings and the offsides, they get the puck down quick. And we haven't seen any penalties this period, but we may in the future too. And I think that there's a good chance special teams could determine what happens in this game.
All right, with that, we'll take a quick break. Once again, your score after one period is RPI 1 and Dartmouth 1. Listening to live coverage of RPI hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
Let's sing that new song. My music track from my modem jack plays MP3s, threes that I download fast. I read the bits on the microchips, chips, and I burn all my favorite hits.
By the 6th grade, many girls lose interest in technology, but parents can help keep them updated. Go to girlsgotech.org.
A public service announcement brought to you by Girl Scouts of USA and Ad Council.
I am an American soldier.
I am a soldier in the Army National Guard.
I am a warrior and a member of a team.
I live the Army values.
I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough. I am the guardian of freedom
And the American way of life.
I am an American soldier. I am the Army National Guard.
Defend freedom. In the Army National Guard, you can. Visit 1-800-GO-GUARD.com today.
Sponsored by the New York National Guard. Aired by the New York State Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here with RPI head men's soccer coach Adam Clinton. And Coach, obviously a chance to look back at the season now that's one of the best in school history. What kind of led into it, and what were your thoughts coming into the season, and then now kind of reflecting on it here?
Well, I thought in 2018, at the end of the year, we had the best team in the league. We fell short in the semifinals. Coming in, I thought we were going to be pretty good. Obviously, I don't think I could have ever imagined being as good as we ended up being. But, a great group of guys that took me on a fantastic ride.
The team, if you're unaware, the school record 16 wins, made it to the NCAA tournament Sweet 16. And really, I think the most important thing for a lot of folks that follow men's soccer here is look like you belong there. And, you had thoughts bright in the future. You guys were a couple games away from playing for the national championship, and that's obviously your goal every year, as you say, but it almost came true there.
Yeah, so every time a recruit sits in my office, I tell them that we're actively trying to win a national championship. We've been to the tournament 5 times since I've been here. 3 times we've lost to teams that have gone to the Final Four, and twice to national runners-up. So we definitely are still trying to climb that hill. This is the first year that we've actually seen the mountaintop. We got above the clouds this year. We were 1 game from the Final Four. So, it's an amazing time in our program right now.
And also the class that kind of helped you guys, the freshmen, can maybe put you guys over the top when you had a bunch of the rest of your seniors, juniors, and sophomores that had some experience too.
Yeah, this year's freshman class was great. We had a couple of guys come in and really contribute right away. We have a good group that are in the holster, so to speak. They're ready to go. And really, the secret to this team was all through the 4 years, every one of them has played as freshmen. So it's been a process for the last 2 or 3 years getting to this stage. So our seniors were playing as freshmen. So I think that's what contributed to it.
You saw it at the end of the season when you guys were finally eliminated by Amherst there. Just the emotion with you and your senior class, that what the work they put in to kind of help lead this group along its way here.
Yeah, I'm so proud of those guys. They have battled. As I said, they had to play as freshmen because of injuries or whatever the situation was at the time. But they've just battled every year, and they've had some heartache along the way. And for them to have this success, it's great.
Why do you think this men's soccer program has drawn the talent that you've been able to for the last couple of years, especially up until last year's class there?
I'm not really sure. I had a mentor a couple of years ago say, stick to your guns, play the way you want to play, and eventually good players will want to come to you. And I've always had that in the back of my mind. I never deviate from that. So we try to play a style that when a kid is sitting in the stands watching us, if he's a good player, he's going to want to play for us. So I think that's part of it. I also think the school itself is attractive. We get kids from all over the country. And then, success breeds success.
Speaking with Adam Clinton, RPI men's soccer coach, after their historic run this fall, as I mentioned, the 16 wins, they scored a school record 47 goals. Your teams in the past have been great defensively, obviously, but this year you guys broke on the offensive side. What clicked for you guys offensively? What made you guys so hard to defend?
So you and I have had this conversation many times where you will think that I want to be a defensive coach.
No, I know.
No, and I'm saying this, because this was the year that we finally looked like I would like to look, right? So we were scoring 3 goals a game and giving up very few.
Yeah.
So what clicked? Good group of players. Obviously, we had a goal scorer. Kid scored 16 goals. You never know that's going to happen. You always hope. One guy gets 16, it opens up other guys to get opportunities. We had a center back who had, I think, 6. And they weren't all like from set pieces. They were all good. So I think, our foundation was there, but this year we managed to finish when we got our chances. And obviously when you have a goal scorer, that makes everybody's job easier.
This team successful throughout the year, but even more so at home for the last, since the building's been open, really. ECAP has been a place for you guys where you're successful. Seemingly whoever comes in here, whether it's a top 5 team, Oneonta, Williams, you guys either give them a good game or you beat them here. It seems like a draw or a win almost always every time out for every home game you play. What does that say about this group and also what you guys have?
First of all, we call it Facility Fortress ECAP. So when anybody comes in here, we're defending the fort. And it's a rallying cry, and we have become very confident when we're here. This is a tough place for other teams to come, and that sort of already gives you a little bit of advantage. When teams are coming here, they go, man, I got to go to RPI and play a game. It's a tough game because we're going there. So I think just everybody likes being at home. So, but we definitely, we talk about defending our fort.
this team, you do need a little bit of luck to make it as far as you've gotten. And you had some games this year where it was down to the last 5 minutes, you needed a tying goal, but you got those big goals from big players, even though the seniors or Trevor Bisson, who I think has scored a couple of 3 goals in the last 6 minutes in games to tie or give you guys the lead. So, what does it say about the fortitude of some of the guys that you're bringing?
This group in particular just never quit. And it started the first day of the year, first game against Elizabethtown. We scored with 25 seconds left to tie the game, and then went out and win it in overtime. And I do believe, Trevor had 4 goals in the last 5 minutes. I think we had 5 games where we had to dig out a goal in the last 5 minutes, and we managed to do it every time. And I think that sort of becomes a mindset that you know you're never out of it. So that helps in the long run. So even if we were down late, we still felt like, hey, we got a chance. And when we moved the big man up front, everybody, you could see there was a lift. I don't know how to explain it. Just happened.
Penalty kicks always a tough spot in soccer games. You guys had your fair share of them this year. A tough way to go out. You're looking to win the league championship. Clarkson knocked you out there. You're able to kind of get a bit of redemption against Middlebury. What are those like, picking those groups, and how is it for a coach to sit there knowing that you don't have a lot of control at that point?
So all the pressure's on the shooter, not on the goalkeeper. We started practicing penalty kicks a week before the tournament started because we knew we had qualified. I just watch my guys over and over again, and I like to pick guys who are consistent, play the same spot every time, because then I know they're not going to change, they're not going to deviate when the pressure's on. And as I said, there is definitely luck involved there. Your goalkeeper makes 1 save, and then you just have to not miss. And it's very difficult for the goalkeepers.
I'm speaking with Adam Clinton. We're between periods, RPI hockey here with Dartmouth. And Coach, you guys had such a great year, but obviously you didn't win the league. Next year you have to go into it thinking, how are we going to improve upon last year? You might not improve on certain things, but are there other goals that you're looking to reach next year that you weren't able to this year?
Yes, the big one hanging out there is we didn't win the Liberty League tournament, and that was a major blemish on our season for us. In our locker room, we wanted to win the regular season, and we want to win our own league tournament. Going into the tournament, we knew we were going to make the NCAA tournament, but not winning it on our own field, watching someone else raise that trophy, is all the motivation.
And so you guys, obviously you have a class coming in, you have a great group of seniors going out, I'm sure, as they're being recognized between periods here at the field house for those unable to be there. But what does that say for this group? I mean, I know there's been some great teams throughout RPI athletics history, but even in men's soccer as well. But to say you guys had the most wins in school history is a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, this is the set a new bar. Prior to this year, the team that in our program we talked about was our own 9 team, who was tremendous, and this team broke all their records. Basically, is what happened. So this group, we talk every year about leaving your legacy. We don't dwell on it, but it is something we talk about in the beginning of the year. And this group really grabbed that and ran with it. And they are leaving a tremendous legacy. The seniors that are leaving, can hold their heads really high, and the guys behind now have something to shoot for.
Do you have a fall schedule coming up, a fall, session where you guys do some training? What are the things you're looking to work on going into the spring that will try to help you elevate your game in the fall?
So I think this spring I've been talking about a little bit. We need to spend more time working on some set pieces. So we'll probably do more set pieces in the spring because we're not getting ready for games. We have more time to do that. And then we have to, we had a lot of young guys, so we're going to be coaching the young guys, getting them ready because we're going to need them next year to play either, as a starter or off the bench. So just tweaking some guys. Josh Gadiano scored a lot of goals. We want to make him a better soccer player. Eric Duncan's a very good player. We got to work on some things with him. And then there's, just other guys getting more experience.
Have you ever been, more excited to get back out on the field again after a season like that? Was that motivating?
It's unbelievably motivating. I think, it's very odd that this is 10 years after the last time we had a team this good. But in 2008, we made the tournament. I couldn't wait for the 2009 season to start. This year, we had our deep run. I can't wait for the 2020 season to start. We want to get at it, and we want to just, get this group back out there.
You're only, 8-9 months away from that.
Like that. It'll go fast. It always does.
Last question for Coach Clinton here. You guys, obviously, recruiting is a big part of how you guys got to this point. What do you see from, you can't speak, I guess, specifically to guys coming in, but overall, the group that you have look like coming into RPI next year?
So what I will say, to avoid any issues, is that we have gotten a pretty good bounce from from having a good tournament run. We have players that are now, they really want to come to us. They're seeking us out more. They want to commit to us before they've seen all the things that go along with college, like their financial aid package and stuff but kids want to come here now. They want to commit earlier to us, and that is definitely a direct relation to our tournament run last year, because it doesn't happen all the time.
Awesome. Adam Clinton, RPI men's soccer coach. Thanks for taking a few minutes here.
Thank you.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school. Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I mean, I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Inside the Houston Fieldhouse, Periloscaris, Joe Pisacao here, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Before we get started with the second period, I'd like to make a few thank yous here. Do you have them, Joe, or is it me?
We'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union, which provides the funding for WRPI and all club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. We'd also like to give you a reminder that WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. You can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So long as WRPI is broadcasting, we will provide the broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. A couple stats to look at after the first period. 9 of the 20 shots for Dartmouth were below the dots, meaning they were right near the crease on Savory, including that last one that went in from Foreman. And 3 shots from Drew O'Connor. He led the period overall.
Underway in the second period, 1-1 game. As it'll be shot deep by the big green, played behind the goal by Linden, and now Riley has a crack at it, stolen away, and a shot wired high by the goal scorer Foreman. Picked up his 8th of the season. With about a second left, they only put 4.4 left back on the clock, but it looked like there's even more time than that. A little stick handle session by Corey Babichuk, feeds it across to Riley, who shoots it in. It'll be worked back around to the far side corner, and now Morello to the near circle. Quick shot just past the glove of Clark, and now back towards the blue line. Morello Now Gornell in the near corner. Pops free, it'll wrap to the near side. Now Hallbauer. He keeps it in at the blue line. And bottled up there, now moved out by Gallant. And to the RPI line where it's kicked at by Ashbrook. Second try finds Gornell. Mike Gornell out of Irving, Pennsylvania, shoots it in. Irwin back to the near side point. Hallbauer, a wrist shot. That finds the left pad of Clark. Trying to tap it back to the point. A lot of shots being taken. Shots for 16-15 in the first period. That's a high total on both sides. Snapped ahead now. Ashbrook into the zone. A wrist shot blocked by Matthews out of play.
Yeah, RPI clearly not too happy with giving up a goal with less than a second to go to end the first period and letting Dartmouth tie it back up. They come out firing on all cylinders, going right to their forecheck and going right to their cycle. First line to third line, or first line to fourth line. Just everybody going in and digging pucks out of the corner, getting them up to the points, creating chances.
Face off in the Dartmouth zone here. Shots are even at 16 apiece, and so is the score. 1-1. Near side, Ferner. He'll dump it in. Karam's off the end wall, picked up by Matthews. Now shot again by Dubinsky, picked up in the near circle. Matthews going to skate it to center. Crosses the red line and fires it in. Spins around to the far side, half boards, kept in by Lacerdo. Tied up now is Matt Baker. And now picked up by Ferner near side RPI zone. Goes cross ice into the skates of Kjellberg. Heavy contact, lost the puck off his skate, and now gathered up again by Lacerdo. Near side Baker. Filtered ahead, trying to find Warpeka. Good indirect ahead for Polino, back the other way. Patrick Polino, a wrist shot and a stick save by Clark. Juggling off the glove of Clark, couldn't corral. It'll be picked up by Graber. Will Graber to center ice. Tap to the near side. Polino gets run over. It'll be picked up by Warpeka. He moves it deep into the RPI zone. We get a whistle here and a penalty for interference on Klee. And the first penalty of the game goes against the Engineers. 2.5 into the second period.
I guess they're getting him for, he was kind of holding up Lacerdo, but it's hard. I find it interesting they call an interference there after Polino got run over without the puck. I guess he was close enough to it for no call there. But first penalty kill of the game, and RPI has a pretty good penalty kill on the year. 85.2%, which ranks 12th in the country.
Face off here. RPI trying to work it out far side. And they'll try the near side. His glove down, but out of the zone by Graber. He claims that he had his arm outstretched, and to Graber's credit, the senior from Longmont, Colorado, he's 6'5", so he's got a long reach, right?
Yeah, he definitely did have the puck, but I think both of his skates were over the board. I'm not exactly sure what
puck has to leave. Yeah, there's like a wall, right?
Yeah,
an imaginary
I guess
wall.
The puck must have left, but yeah, I think he definitely had a legitimate case there.
Yeah, well, it's all over now. Graber back to get it behind his own goal after the Engineers clear. Power play for Dartmouth on the season, just a bit over 20%. It's good for 4th in the league, 19th in the country. Shot in by O'Connor. Rolls around behind the goal. Johnson going to try and clear it out. Get some help from Jerry, but he chipped it into the bench. If there was glass there, of course, he would have been all right, but it goes right into the Dartmouth bench area, and a face-off coming up in the RPI zone.
Yeah, RPI looking pretty good so far on the PK, getting to clear to start it off. Still a lot of time left, and as you mentioned, Dartmouth, one of the better power play teams in the league.
Now a face-off win for Dartmouth. Matthews down low, trying to center. Maybe a no-look pass attempt there from Hessler did not work. Luckily for him, his teammates regather the puck. Now Hessler has it in the corner for Rutherford. Wrapped up there. Trying to scoop it out was Babachuk. Now it comes free to the point. Matthews has it. Handoff there. Looking for a shooting lane. Good block. There's an Engineer still on the ice. It was Babachuk who blocked the shot from Graber, or from Lacerdo rather. 54 to go on the Dartmouth power play. Now fanning on a pass is Rutherford. And it's cleared out by the Engineers all the way down. Clark back to handle with the goalie stick. It'll be handed off there for Brendan Less. Former New Jersey hitman gets it into the zone, but Dartmouth tried to change its blue liners on the power play, and RPI was able to clear it back out to center. Spinning with it is Palisic. Another former hitman. A blue liner, though, has 6 power play assists on the season, leads the team, or tied for the team lead at least. For Palisic. On the scrum, a centering pass, scooped out towards the blue line, kept in Palisic. Far side connection. Graber, a shot blocked by Riley. Out of the box, Engineers kill the penalty. Not out of the woods yet. Shot off the base of the net by Baker. As he had some net to shoot at, but he hit the side of the cage. And now back out to center comes RPI. Dubinsky chipping in. Morello, who just came off the bench when Klee came out of the box. There's a shot there off the shoulder of Clark. By Burgess, tipped in front by Burgess. 2 quick chances there for the senior. Now a shot by Linden, a save. Rebound, Ferner hit a boot with a shot. Karam to the far side, Chelberg keeps it in. Down low, past Linden, wraps around Morello. Morello in the near corner. Trying to throw it back to the point, it was broken up. Ferner still gets to it, sticked away by the netminder Clark to the far side. Now into the slot again, Morello, a shot, that one's blocked away. Cannot be kept in by Ferner. He'll fire it back into the attacking zone. Couple Engineers have to touch up, and they do. 14:40 to go, second period. Good forecheck by Burgess. But the Big Green nearly out of danger here as they finally poke it towards the line where it's kept in by Burgess. Good, tenacious forecheck here. Tour Linden. Hand off in the near corner for Herman. Rory Herman cross-eyes, one-timer, they score! Todd Burgess on the back door. It's 2-1.
The Ottawa Senators draft pick gets his 5th of the season, and I don't know what it's been tonight, but this forecheck of the Engineers has been absolutely on fire. You can tell between the defensemen at the blue line and the forwards that are below the red line, they're just not unwilling to give up, and a beautiful step there for Herman to get Burgess there on the one-timer. And that's just a non-stop motor from all ends, and you can tell that the forwards have confidence, the defensemen are going to keep it at the blue line, and the defensemen have confidence that the forwards are going to dig it out of the corners because they're sending the pucks right back in.
So the goal there by Burgess, 2-1 Engineers, and off that penalty kill, maybe giving the team a little bit of energy as they really had Dartmouth pinned in. Now a chance to break the other way. Cam Strong pulls up at the half wall. Tie up in the near corner. Back towards the line, it's moved out to center. And back behind the net it goes, picked up by Hallbaum. Up the far side, shot in by Johnson. Clark behind the goal, stops it there. Into the near side now played around to the far side. Babachuk thought about pinching in, but Warpeka moves it towards the line, but it's kept in. Dubinsky trying to stick handle his way in. Comes free to Zeke. He can't control a bouncing puck, and it's back to center. Rutherford trying to turn on the afterburners. Met by Klee, drop pass behind everybody. Polino turns it around with speed. Patrick Polino into the zone, pulls it back, can't get the shot away. Trailing Ezeki, across, but Dubinsky, no! To the far side, fanning on the shot was Polino. Second try, they score! Oh my! Patrick Polino had a couple of cracks at that one, and he finally sticks it home.
And you gotta give credit to Mason Klee there. He sprinted back when he saw Babachuk might have gone down. He sprinted back to get the puck deep in the zone, and then RPI able to get it out to Polino to create that chance.
Patrick Polino would not be denied in that far circle.
Zeke again following up on the play, making the initial pass. The first Dubinsky shot not going through. Zeke gets the rebound and then rips it around to Polino on the other side. Just great team play overall.
Now another chance to break in 2-on-1. A feed across. They score again. Ashbrook on the doorstep. It's 4-1. Pandemonium at the Houston Fieldhouse.
Oh my goodness! Again, that's the Ashbrook-Cornell pairing, just right on top with each other, right intact. Stick handles, and Ashbrook just waiting there for the tap in. Cornell and Ashbrook, and I believe that may get Ashbrook over the hump to 10 points as well. it's just going to be 9 for him. But still, I think Dartmouth has to call it. Yeah, they're going to call a timeout here because they just got absolutely blitzed by RPI. What's the official count, Perry? Do we have that up yet? I think that's got to be the quickest turnaround for goals in a while.
It's something. I'm trying to do some math on that. I can't even do the math fast enough. We need.
I mean, the way the refs are running this game right now, they're dropping the puck like boom, 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 and I think that as a result, it's benefited RPI. They've been able to just score. They haven't even announced any of the 3 goals yet. We're going to get the official scorings on them now.
So you have Burgess at 5:39, and you have Polino at 6:59. 11 seconds later, Ashbrook at 7:10. Those are your 3 goals in this period.
So all of a sudden it goes from a 1-1 tie with Dartmouth scoring at the very end of the first period to a 4-1 lead for RPI. It's really, you just can't even keep up with the action right now.
I believe it was a minute 31. Minute 21? Minute 31 between all 3. Anyway, we'll get the final numbers. I can't do my math in my head that quickly, which is a bit surprising, but anyway. 4-1 as Dartmouth trying to move it out in front. Gallant had a crack at it. And now Babachuk throws it behind the cage for Riley. Riley scooping it ahead. Glove down at center ice. Engineers trying to move into the zone, but they're offside as Morello. Over the line, and we get another chance to breathe a little bit here, Joe. RPI scoring in quick succession here in this period.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting that all the goals, they came kind of the way you would expect to from the types of players that scored them. Polino created his chance with his speed on the initial break-in, and then Ashbrook and Gornell just connecting with each other as they've done in the past couple months or so here. And then the Burgess one, just another great setup there. For the one-timer, Burgess with just a wicked shot. He's got 5 goals on the season. A bit of a quieter season for him, considering last year he had the last 2 years he scored in the double digits. Last year he had 16 points. This year just 7 so far, but still Todd Burgess is a high-skilled player for RPI. And he's really what started off that blitz for the Engineers.
I think I was right with a minute 31 seconds, Joe.
5:39.
5:39 to 7:10 is a minute 31, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that was quick. I should never have doubted myself, Joe.
No, you should not.
3 goals in a minute 31 for RPI, and they have a 4-1 lead. Near side half wall. In the attacking zone, it's Ashbrook who scored the most recent tally. Behind the net they go. Finally taken away by Baker, and the Big Green move it to center. For Ashbrook, it's his 5th of the year. The most recent RPI goal, all of an even strength. And in a game that the Engineers needed these 2 points, as we mentioned, there are very few league games, both last weekend and now next weekend. RPI is going to Western Michigan for 2 non-league contests. There weren't a lot of league points to be had, and this was a must-win game of sorts for RPI. I never want to call it a must-win game, but if RPI has thoughts of hosting or finishing the top 4, they needed a win. Here's a shot by Jerry. Pops right back out to Johnson. Down low, Jerry, near side, in front looking for Gornell. And it's fended away by the goalie stick of Clark and chipped back out to center by the Big Green, but they have just iced the puck as he knew it. Lacerdo just put his head down as soon as he got rid of that thing.
Yeah, and Lacerdo there just kind of shrugging his shoulders as he's skating back. The Big Green just look a little gassed right now. It looked like RPI just put on a speed boost. They went in, they put on the nitro boosters on the engine, and Dartmouth wasn't ready for it.
Well, yeah, Dartmouth had gotten the last few times that the Big Green have been here, especially. They've really taken it to the Engineers, and Will Graber was the biggest nemesis for all those games. He had back-to-back hat tricks, of course, and they ran a rough shot over the Engineers, and now RPI is trying to return the favor. This is chipped over the head of Strong and picked up there by Hallbauer. Ahead for DeGrande. DeGrande trying to feed it in front. Jerry, a shot point blank save by Clark, keeping it a 3-goal game. Now it's flipped all the way down the ice off the boot of Strong. And you don't see a lot of icing calls off of a skate, but that's what we had there, is kicked down ice by Strong. Another icing here on Dartmouth. Shots are 24-18 RPI, but they have blitzed the Big Green for 3 goals and a half here in this period for a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, strong footing it down. And again, but another just a quick face-off coming after the icing.
Face-off, push back to the point. Mason Klee down low for Polino. In the far corner, Polino lost it along the wall. It'll be moved out to center ice by Dartmouth on the carry. It's Palisic. He'll dump it in behind the goal. Kjellberg leaves it near side. Mason Klee takes a look into the skates of Dubinsky. Second try, gets it to center ice for Polino. Zeke going to the net. Polino works it down low. Feed to the puck by Graber. Near side, Klee keeps it in. Wraps all the way behind the goal to the far side for Matthews. Matthews up the wall for Rutherford. He'll chip it ahead. Past everybody. Rolling puck doesn't help the cause. Another icing here on Dartmouth, as they have racked up a good number of those here so far tonight. We're not quite halfway through this game.
Yeah, and I think it's just all these icings are a result of RPI just out hustling the Big Green right now. And we've talked about how they're better at home. They're 3-5-2 on the road are the Big Green. So I think if they're going to get back into this game, Big Green's just going to have to settle themselves down a little, get back to the basics of just breaking out of your zone, chipping the puck out to neutral, not trying to win it all in one night.
Off the wall, Kjellberg intercepts at neutral ice, goes backwards to Ferner. Ferner ahead, finds Burgess, slips on through Matthews, but he gets it back out to center. Ferner back in his own zone. He'll go D to Kjellberg. Worked up the far side. Does Morello get a piece? Yes, he does. Says the linesman on the far side. And now move through center near side. Rutherford gets overtaken by Morello. Chip back to center by RPI. Graber across. Matthews slaps it in. Run around to the near side. Waiting for it is Burgess at the half wall. Met by Campbell. Riley behind. Babachuk lofting to center ice. Bouncing puck there. Taken over by Tour Linden, but he took his eye off the puck. Gathering again by the Big Green. Bouncing at center. Karam's off a stick. Picked up by Gallant. Back to Riley for RPI. And now Tour Linden to center ice. He'll chip it in deep. Behind the Dartmouth goal. First one to it. Gornell throwing it out in front. Past everybody. It's kept in the zone by Lepinen. He'll take a shot. Hit a leg. Chip to center. Race for it here. Ashbrook trying to get there. He has a step. And he will beat Foreman down the ice. And now up the wall. Good connection to Lepinen. Trades lanes with Gornell. Near side Ashbrook. Nearly overskated, but gets it deep before getting pushed into the boards on the near side. Now Dartmouth out of their own zone. O'Connor to center. Nearly intercepted, but it gets to Foreman. A shot off the base of the net. Didn't have a great angle. Foreman took the shot anyway. He has the lone Dartmouth goal so far, his 8th of the year. Tied the game up with less than a second left in the first period. But since then, it's been all RPI. And they struck suddenly with 3 goals in a minute 31 here in the second period. 8:15 to go now in the frame. Moving in is Dartmouth. Shot coming. Warpeka over the shot, over the top of the net. He'll be picked up by Baker in the corner. Tie up there. Warpeka towards the point. Push to center. Chance for a 2-on-1. Herman with DeGrande. DeGrande walking in. Back to Herman. Oh, it's kept out by Clark. A sliding right pad. Stop there. And now thrown off a leg out to center. RPI will have to reset. The Engineers have had their fair share of odd man rushes in this game and could easily be 5-1 here, maybe even 6 if not for the play of Adrian Clark. And now Herman turns and shoots off of the leg of the defenseman. That was less. And now thrown cross ice to Babachuk. Drop pass to Grande. Wrist shot saved by Clark, and he holds on at the edge of his crease. 7:21 on the clock in this second period. It's 4-1 RPI. You're listening to RPI Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
Yeah, and Danny DeGrande, he's got 3 goals on the season and just in 10 games played in there, just showcasing his speed, trying to get Rory Herman his first collegiate goal, getting by his defender and then dropping it back for Herman for a good setup, but up to the task was Adrian Clark. And I think if you're RPI here, you have to make sure you don't go into a lull, because Dartmouth has scored they have scored on you already, and they have had your number as of late. So if you're a senior here, you have to be sure that you're telling your guys that the game's not over. There's still a lot of hockey left to be played. We got 7 minutes left in the second, and we got a whole another period to play. So they can't go into a lull. They have to continue to be as aggressive as they've been all night on this forecheck, because that's been the bread and butter. That's been where they've been successful. So they have to continue to press with that, and they have to continue to back check it as strong as they have been. As I mentioned before, Mason Klee has done a great job of just skating back with powerful strides as fast as he can to prevent any odd man chances.
Face off in the Dartmouth zone, goes back behind the goal. Worked up the wall and now moved ahead. Here's Hessler into the zone, takes a shot, glove save. That rebound just popped out of the glove of Savory. Hasn't a ton to do. There's a shot comes in. Save made, pushed just wide there by Urbank. Savory hasn't been particularly sharp. There's a tripping call coming up, or maybe not. Sure looked like one. RPI's going to scoop this out to center. Now break 2-on-1. Polino has Zeke with him across, and it was broken up by the stick of Matthews, the lone big green back defensively. They're really letting him play out there. I thought for sure there were armors to go up for a trip there. Just one penalty in the game. It's against RPI. Refereeing crew of Brad LeBlanc and Chip McDonald, Glenn Cook, and Adam Wood are the officials, the linesmen. 6.5 to go in the second period. 4-1, RPI leads Dartmouth here. Carried ahead, that's broken up at center, played by Burgess into the zone. He takes the hit, lost the puck. Backhanded ahead, but not out by Demler. Finally, the big green moving out of the zone. Good reach there by Hallbauer, turns it ahead, although he gave it away at neutral ice. Rutherford turns back towards his own zone. Pass a bit off the mark for Brock Paul, but he's back to get it. Former Waterloo Blackhawk will try the near side. Rutherford for Campbell. Throws it towards the net. Might have been headed wide, but it'll be smothered by Savory anyway, who gets a whistle. 5:51 to go in the second period. Engineers on top 4-1.
Again, strong play. RPI getting some odd man chances. I think the reason maybe that Babichuk didn't get called for the tripping there was he kind of pulled his stick out just in time, and the ref maybe saw it wasn't as intentional, or I'm not sure, but I agree. I thought it was going to be a trip too. They're definitely letting him play a lot tonight.
Face-off coming up in the RPI zone. Pushed backwards, and now Quinn Foreman and tussles there with the Babichuk to the line. That one leaves the zone offside. We get another whistle.
The referees tonight are Brad LeBlanc, Chip McDonald, and then the linesmen are Glenn Cook and Adam Wood.
Face-off neutral ice here. Engineers want to finish the second period stronger, of course, when they finish the first, giving up a goal in the last second. We'll see if they're able to do so. Chipped off the glass to center ice, played there by Lappinen, who shoots it deep. Watch out down there. Chip McDonald had that puck whistle right over his head. To the far side, Babichuk pinching in. Throws it towards the circle, bouncing there, and Gordon, if he knew where it was, might have been able to tap it home, but it just danced right across the edge of the crease. Now a shot by Riley, tipped over the top of the net. Pinching in, Babichuk got his stick knocked out of his hands. Going to be a slash coming up on Dartmouth. And RPI will go on the power play for the first time with 5:10 to go in the frame. A chance to expand that 4-1 advantage.
Yeah, just not what you want to do there. If you're Dartmouth, it's going to be Foreman going to the box for the slash. Babichuk just making he was pitching up in the play. Nothing too dangerous. I mean, he was making an offensive play, but it wasn't anything dangerous moving in towards the net. That's not a penalty that you want to take, especially when you're down by 3 goals.
Number 17, Quinn Foreman. Here's a 2 minutes for
Riley sent near side, Polino, and hopped over his stick. Now back to Babichuk, who gave it away. Short-handed, Eric Urbank into the RPI zone, makes a move. Pulled up in the corner. Does a nice job just to drying off some of this precious power play time. Is finally pried away from him. Polino has it along the near side. Polino trying to make a move to the legs of Campbell, far side for Dubinsky. Drop pass, point, near side, Riley stepping in, top of the circle, trying to make a move, nearly lost it, but plays it down low for Polino. Indirect back to the point, Riley. Riley holding, looking for a lane, takes a shot, saved by Clark, rebound spilled for a moment, but then he's able to cover. And a minute 18 to go on this RPI power play, but starting strong once they were able to enter the zone.
And you can see the respect that Will Riley has gotten across the league in his last 4 years here. He fumbled the puck a little bit right above the dot, but no one there to really take a swipe at it, and as a result, he was able to get it to below the red line and then get the pass right back and reset it. So missed the scoring chance, but still the respect you can see as an offensive player.
Face-off win for RPI, setting things up on the near side. Minute 7 to go in the power play. Top of the circle. They move it down low. Gornell, a shot save. Rebound poked at as Clark was starting to lean towards the far post on the near side away from the puck, but Gornell wasn't able to chip it up over the pad. And Dartmouth was able to clear in the end. Quickly ahead from Savory, looking for that assist number 4 here. As it's tossed back down ice, and Savory get another chance to play. 3 helpers on the season for the sophomore netminder. Owen Savory won't get one anymore as RPI connects through the neutral zone. Drop pass far side, Gornell. Towards the blue line, Hallbauer. At the point, takes a look. Feeds it near side for Ashbrook. Ashbrook takes a shot, a save by Clark. He was looking for that hole between his right arm and his body, and Clark doing a nice job pinning that arm together and not letting it through.
Really good save there from Adrian Clark. When I saw Ashbrook wrist it off his stick, I thought it was going in for sure. I thought he was going to snipe it, but Adrian Clark doing a nice job to close the gap.
RPI with 13 shots in the period. 14, I guess. 29-21 overall. Collision on the near side. Puck comes back to the point. Riley settles down a rolling puck. Takes a shot and a pad save by Clark. To the far side boards now. And now Morello is going to spin it near side. Riley has it at the blue line. Penalty about to expire. He'll line up a slap shot. That one gets through, and Clark makes the save. Out of the box is Foreman. Back to 5-on-5 with a little over 3 to go in the period. 4-1 Engineers on top. Gloved down at the blue line by Babichuk and picked up by Riley. Will Riley quickly ahead near side, tipped deep by Burgess. RPI is going to get a partial change with Morello chasing. Jake Morello causing problems behind the Dartmouth goal. And now nearly given away in front. Thrown off a skate. Gallant tries to come back for it. And eventually Hessler going to throw it far side in the air. Playing defensive back there is Johnson. Worked ahead to Ferner. Up the boards to Grande. DeGrande shielding goes backwards to Ferner. Had to backtrack a bit to get in the far side of his own zone. Now Johnson near side. Back behind the goal for Ferner off a stick. Glove down top of the zone. Hessler a shot. Pad save. Rebound put over the top by Lacerno. Now Gallant a shot. That one goes wide to the near side. DeGrande trying to get out of the zone. He can't do it. Chip deep. First one to it. It's going to be Johnson. He'll play it near side. Danny DeGrande on a Macomb, Michigan. Little half spin move across for Jerry. Jerry into the zone. Flips it over the top of the net. Tap near side now by Palisic. And good connection to center. Here comes Rutherford on the move. 2-on-1 down low. Rutherford, pad save. Savory on that far side. Now Demler a try. That takes a redirection. Savory makes the stop again. Up top now. Demler fakes a shot. Takes a shot. And that one hit bodies in front. Strong in the near corner. Pinned against the wall, but gets away from Chelburn. Tries a wraparound, and a save by the Savory with the stick. Near side now Rutherford. Back to the blue line. A wrist shot and a save. Savory has it pinned against his pad. 1:13 to go in the second. It's still 4-1 RPI thanks to Owen Savory.
You know what I noticed there on that last sequence? Big Green definitely had a lot of chances there as they're closing out the second period strong. But Mark Gallant was trying to get in front of Savory, and so was Quinn Foreman. They were trying to get in front of Savory to get those extra whacks on the rebounds. That's how they were getting chances last period. And Simon Shelburne was just sweeping out the front of the net, not letting anyone near him. Every time, at one point he skated a little off, and Gallant jumped right in front, and then Shelburne came right over and knocked him out. If Savory can see the puck, he can make the save.
Shot in off the offensive zone, face-off win for Dartmouth. Now back to center ice. It'll be shot in by Zeke. Around to the far side, letting it run to Polino at the half wall. Polino tries to make a move on Graber. To the near side, a minute to go in the period. Now 50 seconds, picked up by Zeke. Trying to throw it down low for Polino. Polino in the near corner, stick handling, free of Matthews. He'll try and drop it off to Zeke, and it slips through his stick. Now, here's Riley stepping in. Circle Riley, backhand shot off a leg. Still loose in front. Turning to Binsky, and that one off a leg just wide. A couple of close-in chances there for the Engineers, but there was just too much traffic in front of the net. Now across the line they come, Dartmouth. Shot from the point off a leg. Played behind the goal by O'Connor. And it'll be played to the far side. Riley, 12 seconds to go in the period. Lifted high off the boards and into Dartmouth territory. Graber back to get it. 6 seconds to go in the period. Skated ahead. Palisic into the zone. A shot gets blocked down. And that's how the second period will end. We only saw 3 goals. They came in a span of a minute 31 in the middle of the period. They were all RPIs, and they lead 4-1 after 2.
Really a strong period for RPI. Yes, they had the 3 goals in that quick time, but they also were very strong on the forecheck, and they didn't let Dartmouth get back into the game after they took the timeout. In fact, after they took the timeout from the RPI 3 goals, they iced the puck on 3 straight possessions. So again, they're just continuing to be relentless on the forecheck, and it's leading to more and more chances. And they even had a power play chance in this period. Again, because of the strong forecheck, Babachek was pushing down to pinch in, and as a result, Foreman had to take a slash. But RPI, again, not letting Dartmouth get back in this game because they know how good this team is, and they know that Dartmouth was just ranked in the top 20 a couple of weeks ago. Last week, before they fell to Cornell and Ty Colgate. So they know the caliber of this Dartmouth team, and the seniors know that they've never beaten them before. So they continue to play strong, and they've got to get one more period as well.
Absolutely, and with that, Joe, we will take a break and be back with the third period of play. Actually, no, I have Nathan Wells coming up here. Nathan Wells talked to me about college hockey here during our second intermission. We'll have that for you in just a moment. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 4 and Dartmouth 1. You're listening to Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
I'm Drew Brees, NFL quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, here with Bugs Bunny to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you fuel your body and your mind.
So what do you like to throw around the football like Drew?
Skateboard, ride a bike, or dance in your room.
Just move it your way.
And be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
After I came home from the war, I lost everything. My job, my family. But this is where I started to put my life back together.
A few weeks ago, my husband of 47 years had a stroke. I'm staying here in this room while he recovers. Without this place, I don't know what I'd do.
At Volunteers of America, we envision a world where everyone has a place to call home.
12 years my family lived in that house, then it was gone, washed away in a flood. We were on the street. The day we came here, that's when I knew we could make it.
But it's not just about having a place to call home. It's about improving lives. Through our programs and support, our promise and hope, we work so that no one will be left behind. After all, who are we as a society if we don't help those who need it the most? To help strengthen your community, visit volunteersofamerica.org.
between periods, RPI and Dartmouth, and I'm joined by Nate Wells, who is a hockey writer from my hometown of St. Paul, Minnesota. So he was here visiting. He had to see the Big Red Freakout, which is tomorrow's big hockey homecoming. Nate, thanks for coming on the air here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Barry. It's great to be here.
So Nate moved out east, so I was been trying to convince him for a while now to come up for an RPI hockey weekend, and he so far has picked a pretty good weekend. I don't want to knock on wood here, but the Engineers came up flying in that second period. First of all, what your overall thoughts of the Houston Fieldhouse? It is an old barn. It's built in the late 40s, early 50s. They finished it. What are your thoughts just looking around here?
It's nice. It's something that you really don't see out west too often. A lot of those buildings are built in the last 15, 20 years. It certainly feels like it has a lot of history in it, and just walking around, you can feel it. Looking up all the banners and just fancier. It's been a fun experience so far.
And Nate and I, quick background between us, because Nate and I went to the same high school, St. Paul Highland Park Senior High School. We played in the same band. I played French horn. And Nate was a baritone, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I have my memory's fuzzy from the turn of the century back then. But anyway, so it's fun. Nate's been writing about college hockey for basically since high school. Covered Minnesota Gophers, men's and women's, and Minnesota hockey in general. There's a lot of it out there. That's what obviously drew me into sport. Is everyone plays hockey until you're at least 12 years old, Nate, and then you kind of find something you either write about it or you do something else.
Yeah, it's all about the culture there. That's one of the things that really drives me to write about hockey, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's out here, and just being out here, just kind of finding those stories, find something here like the Big Red Freakout, just something where hockey is part of the bigger picture of life on campus.
So we'll certainly find that the storied history of the Big Red Freakout, which I'm sure you'll learn about today and tomorrow with the ice house down the street and all the alums that come back for it. I call it essentially it's a festival. It's a hockey festival, but it's also an alumni. It's also an alumni weekend, and you try to celebrate different members of different historic teams. You look at the Raptors, as you mentioned. 1994-95 was the last ECAC Hockey League champion. They'll be honored tomorrow night. But the Ring of Honor, their numbers are up in the Raptors here as well. And the team's 2 national championships, 1954 and 1985. Some members from 85 are coming back as well. So an exciting weekend here. And Nate, I wanted to get to the article you wrote for yesterday about bracketology, and it's college hockey is interesting. There are much fewer teams than other sports like basketball, and it's harder to get in. So, what do some of the teams in these smaller conferences have to do to kind of solidify their position?
Well, it depends on who the team is. There's certainly quite a few at this point of the year, just because college hockey. There are no backdoor smoke rooms. No one makes deals or anything. You know what you need to do based on the pairwise rankings. There's a few teams who are pretty much set. Pretty much everyone else is kind of playing. For the ECAC, even pretty much it's Cornell, Clarkson are in. Everyone else is pretty much on the edge of the need to win the auto bid at this point. Hockey East has kind of a fun stretch down the stretch from this where there's about 4 or 5 teams are kind of playing for 2 or 3 spots as they play one another down the end. And it's maybe really at this point it's probably about 20, 21 teams are fighting for 15, 16 spots.
And you talk about the bubble teams, coming down to. It's funny because everyone always talks about don't look at the pairwise until after the new year or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's February. We're like, whoa, where did that? It feels like it all kind of happens in a hurry.
And it's difficult because every game counts the same. Right. So once it happens, you're like, oh, this is the team that is. But then you have situations where teams really find themselves in the second half. And it's great down the line. Then you're like, oh wait, where's this team in October, November?
Exactly. And so Nate got a bit of a taste here of RPI hockey. We don't usually score 3 goals in a minute 31, so don't figure that happens all the time here. But this is a team on the rise, and I know you're going to get a chance to talk to Dave and some of the players this weekend here. It's 3rd year for Dave Smith. They won 6 games 2 years ago, 10 games last year. Looking for their 11th win tonight. If they can get it here, they have a 3-goal lead. And what have you seen from these two teams, I know you've seen Dartmouth already this year, but what have you seen from ECAC hockey and the game you saw at Princeton compared to what you've seen so far up here?
Really, both teams out here are teams that just have slowly gotten better. Especially, yeah, just kind of mentioned Dave Smith, where it's just gone from 6 to 10. Looks like it's going to top that again. And just kind of slowly building up. As it gets more and more of his players in, and just as these players get older and older, you're certainly seeing a better team there. I think Dartmouth is one that it certainly has a lot of upperclassmen. And it's kind of been a thing with college hockey this year. The teams that are doing well are some of the older teams, ones that have a lot of experience. And that's been really the case. That's really been the case throughout college hockey, the case in the ECAC as well.
And I know you and I talked off air earlier today about the landscape of the one and done culture and how it's affecting some of these bigger programs. Smaller, ECAC is a prime example. There aren't a ton of one and dones in ECAC hockey, and you've seen a number of championships come out of the league, whether it be Union and Yale and Quinnipiac going to a couple but not finishing the deal. So there are some teams out here that have kind of found a formula that's worked.
There are, and it seems like each team kind of has their own formula, whether it's Cornell, just kind of around very much on defense, whether it's Harvard having that mixture of veteran players and high-end skill. Quinnipiac seems to kind of be doing like a mix of the two. The job Casey Jones has done at Clarkson the past 4 or 5 years, just reloading and keeping those high-end players for junior and senior years. It's been outstanding. Yeah, it just seems the quality of competition here in the ECAC just keeps getting better and better.
I want to touch on women's hockey for a second. I know you covered a lot of it, especially in the Midwest and Minnesota, and the tremendous run that a lot of those teams have been on, whether it be the Gophers and also Wisconsin out there. You have the East Coast powers as well. It seems like for a long time we've been talking about women's hockey, how things seem to be balancing out a little bit, but I feel like that hasn't. I think we haven't got to that point where it's actually balanced.
I feel like where we're at is there's still the high end, the top teams, whether it's your Minnesota, Wisconsin, Clarkson. You can put in that conversation for a good portion of this decade.
For sure.
But where it's getting better and where it's balancing out is those teams those teams in that next tier are getting better and getting closer to them, as well as maybe the tier below that are getting closer. And it's kind of everyone's getting closer to one another. I still think Minnesota and Wisconsin are head and shoulders 1s and 2, but you still have Northeastern's doing fantastic this season. They just clinched the Hockey East. Ohio State, job Nadine Muzzerall's doing out there has been just, they've always been kind of a bit of a sleeping giant. You expect something to do well. Like, you expect them to do well, and they're kind of been doing that now. Princeton is certainly kind of another one there. So I feel like it's that next tier. They're getting closer. It's not there yet, but you can certainly see the progress, especially just even compared to 3-4 years ago.
Right, and it's tough when you try to measure it in terms of championships, because those teams are going to be there every single year, whether it's Clarkson, seemingly Clarkson now, but the University of Minnesota's, the Wisconsins, they're always going to be the Frozen Four. It's those who is that third or fourth team who kind of pushes their way into the crowd, whether it is the Ohio State or Penn State or one of those clubs.
Exactly, and yeah, this is a year where I wouldn't be surprised if you see a couple road teams win in the NCAA tournament and get to the Frozen Four.
That's great. And back to the men's side real quick. I know your bracketology came out. You said that Sacred Heart, who won a big tournament in Connecticut, you were there. One of your sleepers for the league. They just announced a new arena. So Sacred Heart is a team that's played here a couple of times. RPI fans are a bit familiar with them. Why did you see them being successful this year, and what kind of teams do you like them to make a push?
What they've been doing is honestly is kind of something they see from RPI. Maybe they're a year ahead. You're seeing them bringing in some quality players, some good recruiting, and those guys are maybe leaders a little bit younger. There's maybe they're sophomores or whatever, and once they get a little older, it's getting things going. And that's kind of what I saw with the Sacred Heart, where they had a really solid sophomore class the year before, and those guys are juniors, and they're still bringing in some high-end players, and they still kept Jason Cotton, who's just doing fantastic. So it just kind of seemed like maybe this might be that year where they're able to put something together, and that's kind of been the case. They've had they've had a really good year. They were close in Atlantic hockey, and they won the Connecticut Ice tournament.
Yeah, that was a pretty big deal for them with the competition that was out there in Connecticut. Anyway, that's Nate Wells. Nate, thanks very much for coming on between periods. I'll let you get back to enjoying the third period of tomorrow's Freakout here. Thanks for coming on.
Of course, thanks, Barry.
That was Nate Wells. We'll step aside and be back with the third period. Your score after 2 is RPI 4 and Dartmouth 1. You're listening to live coverage of RPI Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. NCAA.com. He does the bracketology. Joe Piscicano's back, ready for the third period. What do you think, Joe?
I think the Engineers they've gotten better at playing with the lead this season, and we'll see if they can close it out.
All right, Dartmouth will dump the puck in to begin the third. Chopped back into the far side circle, now forced to center by the long reach of Riley. Now a race for the puck in the big green end. Turned up ice near side by Baker before he takes a hit. Poked at by O'Connor, but turned around by the Engineers. Morello feeding it deep on the near side. It's chopped at by Tour Linden, who opened the scoring for RPI back in the first period. Slapped to the far side boards. Jumping into the play nicely is Ferner. Down low for Linden. Linden looking for a centering feed. Takes a shot and a save by Clark. He was pinned against that right post and he holds on.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think the Big Green, they're going to come out with everything they got in these opening minutes of the third to try and get themselves a goal or two and get back into this game. So I think RPI is going to have to do their best to quell this initial swell. And so far they did a great job just by getting the puck deep and digging it out like they've been doing all game.
Face off near side of the Dartmouth zone. Tapped along by Urbank. He'll try and race for it on the near side. Hallbauer beats him to it. Tied up between Hallbauer and the boards. Now played to the far side. Johnson throws a hit. Half wall shot. Stick save. Savory. Lepinin. One crack. Second try. Lobs in the air. Comes down to center ice. Just deadens there. As Matthews was waiting for it. RPI moves it in. Gornell behind the cage. Here's Ashbrook. Back to Gornell. And he overskates. Has to go track it down far side. No, it's Johnson pinching in. Lepinin out of the corner. Losing his stick there was Hessler. In front, a shot blocked there by Matthews on Ashbrook. Tap to the blue line. Here's Hallbauer. Backing up in the red at the neutral zone. He'll dump it in. And now Graber shoots it off high off the glass near side. Polino spun around at the half boards, trying to work it deep. It's chipped back to center. Fed back into the zone by Ferner. It'll be Rutherford now for Dartmouth out of his own zone, pressured by Zeke. He goes back behind the goal. Dartmouth hemmed in right now. Paul trying to clear. Finally does out the far side. A misplay there by Rutherford. Thrown through center, turned back around by Zeke. Finally RPI able to maintain possession for more than a moment. Shot deep by Zeke, picked up by Dubinsky, trying to get away from Paul. Dubinsky in the far corner now. Twisting and turning, the freshman from Highland Park, Illinois. Hands it off to Polino, who shields it away from the much taller Graber. Polino, far side circle on the puck. Around to the near side circle. Polino has it poked away, and now Graber has a chance to skate, although he's at the end of a shift. He'll pull up along the near side boards and throw it towards the net. It'll be gloved there by Savory, and we get a stoppage in play. 17:26 to go, third period, 4-1 RPI on top.
RPI just playing with a ton of confidence right there. Riley able to just seam the pass below the net for Dubinsky as he was able to corral the puck, make a couple moves behind the net. Again, RPI just looking playing really confidently.
Face-off coming up in the RPI zone. Lifted high in the air out to center. Near side. It'll be picked up by Jerry and wrapped to the far side corner. And now moving out the near side, it's chipped off the glass and broken up at center ice. Now carried in by Campbell to the far side, trying to drop pass, but inadvertently carried it with him. Still Campbell trying to drive the net now. It's poked away. Warpeka behind the goal. Back to the near point for Paul. Far point, poked into the zone. Didn't have anywhere to go with Demler. Back to the Dartmouth blue line, broken up by Paul. Now picked up by Klee. Mason Klee, far side, shot all the way down, hit the referee, so it'll still go wide of the net. The linesman will be icing on RPI.
Yeah, they call icing there. I thought Clark actually made a play on it, holding the side of the net, but must have hit the side of the net as opposed to him. So 16:34 to go in the third. RPI up 4-1. They lead in the shots on goal category as well, 32-28. A lot of shots in this game, as we've already mentioned. And
I think a timeout coming up here, maybe. Although, RPI, of course, RPI iced it. I was like, who's?
So yeah, RPI calls not giving, using their timeout here, not giving Dartmouth any chance to catch the Engineers tired or short skated at any moment. RPI playing with a 4-1 lead, and in an all-important ECAC matchup as Dartmouth comes into the game 7-4-1. RPI, of course, 7-7-1 in ECAC play.
Attendance tonight, 2,351. Okay, hoping for closer to a sellout tomorrow for the Freakout. It's the biggest game on the regular season calendar as far as this building is concerned. And
What was the attendance tonight again?
2,351.
Okay. They can, Fieldhouse can hold 4,900?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I think it's 42 or 43, I think. I don't know the exact number, but anyway, bouncing puck towards the blue line, and RPI's going to clear it out. Burgess tries to go cross ice, hit one of the big green in the middle of the neutral zone. Shot in, it'll be wrapped to the near side now by Savory. Waiting for it is Morello. He goes backwards to Babachuk. It'll be played through and tipped deep by Morello. Graber uses the end boards. It's given away to Babachuk jumping into the play, trying to drop it back for a one-timer. And Morello couldn't get the shot away. Defended pretty well there. Back the other way comes O'Connor, just sweeping it into the zone. RPI takes over now on the near side. Babachuk onto the tape of Burgess. He'll make his way in. Drop past Morello. Morello looking to cycle. Nobody home on the other side. Demler's going to get there first and scoop it back behind for Matt Baker. Former Wenatchee Wild is Baker. A little backhand saucer pass near side for Foreman. Johnson takes over. And now Hallbauer waiting for it is Gornell. He takes a bump. Chopped at by Leppinen. Race for the puck here. Ashbrook's going to get there and negate the icing in the near corner. He tries to throw down in front before getting dumped. Loose in the near circle. Spin move by Matthews, and Matthews will clear to center in the air. Hallbauer near side of his own zone, high off the boards. Glove down by Matthews, trying to make a move on Gornell. Forced into the zone, but they're offside, as it was Graber, or make it Urbank over the line a little early.
Yeah, RPI not stepping off the gas at all. Ashbrook there beating out the icing, just showing the tenacity that he plays with. And it's up and down the lineup for RPI. They're getting the same chances they were getting in the first two periods.
Todd Burgess and Tour Menden with a goal and an assist apiece so far for RPI. There's a shot hammered wide from center ice by Demler. Now a centering pass intercepted by Klee in good position. Back comes Dubinsky. Dubinsky carries in. Broken up there. Flip towards the high slot. Zeke trying to track it down. Urbank moving it forward. Nice move by Hessler, but he lost it. Doesn't leave the zone. Zeke looking for a lane. Chopped off his stick. Back out to center and all the way down the ice. Shelberg back to pick it up for RPI. 5.5 gone in the third. 4-1 Engineers lead. They broke open what was a 1-1 game early on in the second period. They're going to ice it here. RPI scoring 3 goals in a minute 31, starting at the 5:39 mark of the second period. Burgess, Polino, and Ashbrook, including the final twos. The 2 goals by Polino and Ashbrook coming 11 seconds apart for a 4-1 advantage.
RPI again just playing with a ton of pressure, but getting a little sloppy here with the last icing.
Draw coming up in the RPI zone. O'Connor comes away with it, trying to wheel to the far side corner. Lost it for a second, turns and shoots, tipped wide of the goal. No shot came of that, but Zeke will skate it to center on the near side. Thrown off the glass, kicked into the corner by Jerry. Junior out of River Falls, Wisconsin, hands it off to Herman. Herman makes a move in deep. Still Herman on the puck, looking for the wraparound. And it's saved by Clark. Back behind the goal it goes. Here's DeGrande. 3 goals on the season for DeGrande after not scoring last season. He'll chip it ahead for Jerry neatly. Nice pass. Jerry moving in far side. Takes a shot along the ice. It goes wide. Foreman just chips it out to center, forcing DeGrande to restart there. RPI touches up. Jerry fires it in. We've only had 1 penalty each way. Now we get our second on Dartmouth here. It's going to be a trip as DeGrande was upended at the blue line. 13:20 on the clock. RPI leading by 3. He's going to go on the power play for the second time this evening.
So Rory Herman gets his second assist of the season tonight on the goal from Todd Burgess earlier, but he just had another great scoring chance on the wraparound. Every game he's getting more and more confidence with the puck on his stick, and yes, he's a big guy, and he's a player that you see him as a forechecker. Right now he's playing on that fourth line with DeGrande and Jerry, but he's gaining more and more confidence as an offensive player, as a guy that can put the puck into the net, and especially we saw in the last period, DeGrande set him up nicely for a one-timer that Clark was able to make the stop on, but he's hunting for that first collegiate goal, and he's going to try and get it this season.
It's not a bad idea if you ask me.
Yeah.
Power play for RPI. They're 0 for 1 tonight on the season. 15.5%, Joe. That's good for 4th in the league. That's not right. That's 9th in the league, try. And Dartmouth's penalty kill at 79.2% came in at 8th in the conference as well. So 8th versus 8th here. We'll see what comes in on top. Chelberg for Ashbrook, and now Chelberg center blue line. Chelberg to Ashbrook. Down low, Lappinen back up top. Chelberg, top of the circle, wrist shot finds the outside of the post. He hit the crossbar at St. Lawrence on the power play, and here he hits the post. Gornell, cross ice feed in front, looking for Lappinen. He scores! He slams his stick on the ice. A one-time finish. Otto Ville Lappinen with his second goal of the year, and it's 5-1.
Yeah, Lappinen has not scored in a while, but RPI's power play has scored in 3 straight games. I don't know if that's something to note. They scored at the very end of the Yale game. Even though they lost, it was at the very end. They were able to prevent the shutout. And then they scored the last 2 games, or they scored last week at the Mayor's Cup with Dubinsky, and now their 3rd straight game of the power play. So currently 8th in the ECAC, but starting to catch a little bit of fire here.
This is a very good sign for RPI. They started off the year so hot. They were hovering, 25-30% early in the season. And they've really kind of fallen off as of late. As Joe mentioned, 3 games in a row now on the power play goal. That is worth noting, Joe. Don't question it.
And that's Lappinen's first goal since they played Canisius on October 19th, which was...
That was the first time they played Canisius.
Yeah, that was the 7-2 win at the very beginning. So Lappinen, it's been a while for him. That's probably a little bit what had to do with the slamming of the stick on the ice, but he will also join the Decade Club now with his 10th point of the year.
New goalie for Dartmouth is Justin Ferguson out of Hudson, New Hampshire, sophomore, making his 2nd appearance of the year. And he'll have to deal with the Engineers continuing to rip pucks at him. Here comes Dartmouth, however, the other way. Shot in the glove, saved by Savory. As he holds on there for a whistle.
Yeah, Savory scooping that puck up there a little bit, looking like he kind of wanted a piece of the action. As RPI's the offense, that's been the story tonight.
This is the 4th career appearance for Justin Ferguson, his first to relief spot. He's 0-3 with a .775 goals against average and a .763 save percentage. Faceoff goes backwards, penalty coming up here, and it's going to be on Dartmouth. An offensive zone penalty taken and another trip. So coming off of a RPI power play goal, the Dartmouth Big Green go right back on the kill. And this time they're going to get Cam Strong.
Yeah, RPI Dartmouth, just nothing going right for them tonight here. Again, again, it's just that it's the road battles for them. They have not been able to win that cleanly on the road here. And again, there is still time in this game, but RPI up 5. You're down 4 goals, and you have to kill off another penalty. It's going to be tough for them.
Face-off win for RPI. Spin move by Lepin, and he's looking for more. Back up to the point for Ashbrook. Same group out there that scored just a few minutes ago. Shelburne, a wrist shot, a save made by Ferguson. He'll hold on for a whistle.
And I forgot to mention Ashbrook also Ashbrook has 2 points here tonight, and he came into the game with 8, but he picks up another goal and another assist, so that he's going to be the 9th player for RPI to score 10 points, and they still have plenty of games left in the season.
Shot towards the line, past Ashbrook and all the way down. Engineers will reset behind their own goal. Kyle Hallbauer, he'll start things out for the Engineers. Far side, Ashbrook chops it deep. Around to the near side. Gornell at the half ball to the corner, now taken away by O'Connor. Drew O'Connor to center ice, short-handed, tries to make a move on Shelburne. He's tripped up, penalty on the Engineers. That'll do it for the power play. It'll wipe out the final 1:12 of this man advantage.
So RPI trying to get a little, keep the momentum going on the power play, but that little trip there that'll, as you mentioned, wipe it out. And another thing I'm looking at now, only 1 shot on goal so far this period for Dartmouth. They came into the period with 28 shots on net, and now they've only put up 1 more. As Shelburne goes to the box for tripping, so they'll just in that category alone, they're going to look to try and pick up some more.
Special to repair.
Yeah, pretty passing on that Lepin goal for that power play tally, Joe. And they've had a couple of tap-ins like that. A couple that Clark had nearly gotten over to. But in the end, it's really hard for a goalie trying to go post to post so many times. I mean,
that's what we saw it on the Burgess goal too, where he came diving across to try and make the stop there, but it was just too many chances at once, and RPI just swarming as they look to carry over the momentum on the penalty kill as well. A great penalty kill for RPI, as you mentioned. They're 85.2 on the season, good enough for 2nd in the ECAC, as they look to continue to dominate in that category as well. So we talked about, I mentioned special teams being a deciding factor in this game. Obviously, it was more of the Engineer forechecking and the mid-period blitz in the second. That's going to be the storyline of the game. But again, the special teams are what make the differences between good teams and great teams, and RPI certainly has figured it out in one category on the penalty kill. And early in the season, they were one of the top teams in the country on the power play, and it seems like they're starting to figure it out yet again as we get later and later into the season.
So we have 11:43 left. RPI's opened up a 5-1 lead, and you have. Want to talk about tomorrow, Joe? Vermont coming in for the Big Red Freakout, and a chance for RPI to break another losing streak against not against a team, but in the big game.
Right, against again in the big game. A very exciting game last year against Yale. They almost were able to tie it up late in the period, and I remember seeing some of the Yale players after the game. They were saying that was one of the toughest games they played in this building. Just being it's a very loud atmosphere, and they felt like they were on their heels going into the game. So, but you don't want to do that at the end of the game when you're down. You want to have that right from the get-go at the start. So RPI again, kind of how they did tonight. The first shift, it looked like they were a little intimidated by the O'Connor line, but then came right back. They've shown that they were the dominant team tonight, and I think that's what you want to do tomorrow night as well. You're going to have a huge crowd out. You know how loud it's going to be in here, but you can't be drawn into all the excitement. You have to continue to play the game just like you played tonight.
You are listening to live coverage of RPI hockey on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. Perry Lascaris here with Joe Pisacano. The Engineers lead Dartmouth 5-1 with 11:43 to go in the third period. They've chased starting goalie Adrian Clark from the game. Justin Ferguson is in, and he has stopped the first few shots he's faced. First one shot he has faced so far. Now 4-on-4 hockey is a shot off the base of the cage. Comes back to Savory, who covers up. Shots are 36-29 RPI. We'll play 4-on-4 for the minute 5.
And so now the Engineers, as I mentioned earlier, will have 9 skaters, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 9 skaters that all have 10 points on the season with plenty of time left for the other players to catch up. And I think that's been the story of this RPI team. It hasn't been one guy that's been doing all the scoring. It's been a full team. It's been a full depth. They've shown their depth here.
Puck played behind the RPI cage, picked up by Foreman. Quinn Foreman to the half boards. Steps through a check of Riley. Now Riley steals it away. Will Riley goes behind the net with it. He'll stop there. And now he decides to finally break to the near side. Babachuk. Shot up the wall for Ashbrook. Turned around by Graber. Back to center ice it goes. Riley will skate away from O'Connor. Battle of Hobie Baker nominees there as Riley drops it off. Nice move by Ashbrook. Couldn't get the shot away. Now back come the Big Green. O'Connor into the zone. Good back check there by the Engineers to slow him up. Now a centering pass is broken up. Played by Gornell at center. 9 seconds before Dartmouth will enjoy a brief power play. Here's Gornell. Stick handling into the zone. Far side. Now RPI shorthanded. Tour Linden will hold things up on the far side of the zone. Still Tour Linden trying to walk to the net. He was finally taken over by a trio of Big Green. Although he breaks up Cam Strong's attempt to skate out of the zone with the puck, and back to get it in the defensive end is Lass. He'll skate behind the goal to get away from Linden. 10-10 to play third period. 26 seconds left on this Dartmouth power play, and they haven't moved it into the attacking zone as of yet. Now they do, although it's quickly stolen away by Johnson. Johnson will try the near side, and he shoots it into his bench. Watch out. Hopefully no one got hit by that. That was absolutely wired. It hit the stanchion behind the bench. Looks like everyone's okay. Ooh, wow, that was absolutely. It was absolutely ripped. Yeah. Dana McGuane's smiling, so it's nothing too bad must have happened down there. I was going to say it almost hit Dana.
That would not be good.
No. And we'll redo a face-off in the RPI zone.
By the way, Tour Linden with the heads-up play there at the end of the penalty, when the penalty started, just skating through with the puck and killing as much time as he could.
Towards the point, Graber keeps it in. Now centering pass, it's the stick of Savory. Pops straight up in the air. It'll be played by Foreman on the far side. Near side, O'Connor looking for a shooting line. Takes a shot over the top. Power play is over. Dartmouth is 0 for 2 on the man advantage. Poked into the zone, chance for a 2-on-1 across to Grande. Far side, they score! Billy Jerry! And the Engineers continue to be unselfish in front of the net. It's 6-1.
Yeah, everybody there. Again, DeGrande, he's been, the story of him this season is that he's been a goal scorer, but tonight we've seen him with great setups there. So Jerry, back to DeGrande to Jerry, and he just easy tap in there. Not much of a chance there for Ferguson. But again, DeGrande earlier, we saw him set up Herman for a great chance on the breakaway, and then there he could have taken that shot, but elected to fling it over to Jerry, and he hit the easy tapping.
Back into the attacking zone comes Dartmouth. And moved out to center now. Big Green take over again. Taking a hit there was Markle. And now flip to the far side, broken up by Klee. Klee trying the near side, was broken up at center, put it out of the air. We got a puck play with a high stick and a face off the Dartmouth zone. 9:01 to play. The Engineers have put up 6 goals here tonight. They're Obviously, they scored 7. That's their season high against Canisius, the game we talked about last time Lebanon scored. So seems to be a trend there.
Yeah.
Lebanon likes to score in high-scoring games.
So out of VLA, Lebanon should definitely try and put the puck in the net more, because whenever he scores, RPI gets a minimum of 6 goals. At least in the 2019-2020 season. Gotta love statistics. And I think what's been cool about all these goals is that none of them have been fluky. They've all been earned goals. They've been set up by great passing. They've been set up by strong forechecking or just good vision. And they haven't been those little flick, just kind of pucks that bounce around the net and then someone slams home, which are still, they count just as much as a goal that's set up beautifully. But if you're a coach watching, you want to see them score the goals that they set up well. Instead of just those fluky goals. I think every goal here has been well earned.
RPI goal scored by 20. Terry, assisted by 18.
Face-off in the Dartmouth zone, kept in by Chelberg. He'll shoot it deep. And back behind it goes to the near side. Cycling for Zeke. Zeke's centering pass skips through, cannot be kept in by Cleve. That was a tough task. And the Big Green will regather in their own zone. Around to the near side. And now Klee, touch pass through the middle behind Dubinsky. That's poked at, but moved on by Zeke. Zeke into the zone near side. Walks behind the goal. Chase Zeke still on the move. Fending off Hahn. Finds Dubinsky, who chips it on further for Polino. Still 8 minutes left in this game. To the far side, it's intercepted and moved out by Strong. He'll stop at the red line and flip it deep. Back behind it goes. Johnson nearly stolen away by Rutherford, and Dubinsky comes to help out. He'll lob it to center. And a whistle. And this will no puck around a play. Face off in the RPI zone coming up.
RPI continuing to play. You know, you're up by 5, and you wonder what the motor is going to be on your guys. What's the motivation going to be? But Bert, that line is Zeke and Polino. They're showing that they're not giving up at all. Yeah, they're looking for more points on the stat sheet. They're just looking to finish this game strong and carry it over to tomorrow night with the freak out.
The shot all the way down, race for the puck. It's going to be icing. Graber won the race to the dot. Fans continue to not understand the rule, and you can't really blame them. It looked like Leppinen won the race to the puck, but Graber stopped when he hit the dot and stopped skating. And that's
still, you like to see Leppinen skate.
Oh yeah.
7:47 to go. You're up 5, but Leppinen continuing to press and give it everything he's got on the ice.
That was not a knock whatsoever.
I know.
I was just saying Graber didn't have to go any further.
It's more just a compliment to Leppinen.
Right. Would love to see a player just throw on the absolute brakes at the dot and watch someone fly by them. That's where the race was to. You can keep going fast all you want. Anyway, face-off defensive zone. RPI moving up the wall. Leppinen and get it deep. Markle back to get it. Harrison Markle, the sophomore out of Andover, Massachusetts, stolen away by Leppinen. Already has a goal tonight. Trying to turn the corner. He gets dumped there. Turning and shooting was Ashbrook hit a lane. Yeah, I got some more going between Markle and Leppinen. They were tangled up behind the goal, and it kind of carried on up to neutral ice. Now Markle has it again. Leppinen tries to hit him. And it's probably good that both of them will be taking a shift here. Shift change. 7:02 to go third period. Shots are 37-31 RPI. They lead 6-1.
Yeah, the Finnish sophomore heated after getting dumped to the ice there. He did make a strong play with the puck, and it was just good defense there from Markle. Nothing to be ashamed of if you're Leppinen.
Neutral ice. RPI is approaching its season high for shots in a game. It's 40 against Harvard back in November 22nd. Lass will shoot it past the intended target Baker, and they'll whistle this one for icing. A lot of whistles here in the third.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Slowed down a bit, yeah.
Based on the first 2 periods, we're just zipping by.
Now
the play's gotten a little sloppier.
face-off here in the Dartmouth end to the right of Ferguson. Push towards the blue line and out to center by Matthews. Shot back in by RPI, ends up on goal. Ferguson has to turn it away. Down the middle, handoff for Baker. Baker carrying far side. Now a shot comes in from Baker, saved by Savory. The puck's in the net, and they wave it off. As this is probably the right call. They might end up looking at this, but Baker went into Savory to put that puck in the net. I think the puck ended up in the net, but the referee behind the goal was very adamant in waving it off. I think he made the correct call. They're going to look at it to see if something other than what they saw on the ice was true. So you see Baker, we see Baker go into Savory, and he certainly impeded Savory's ability to make that save.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Savory had the puck kind of stuck in between.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here is, we'll figure out what,
puck's in the
pad. Yeah, Baker can't push Savory into the net with the puck, so that's going to be a no-goal. My first question was going to be if they're going to look at that and see what Babachuk was doing, but Babachuk did not interfere. Babachuk did not touch Baker. He did not push Baker into Savory, and so by all accounts there, it should be no goal as called on the ice.
Strong play by Savory, though, to really take a stick into right in.
When Savory's in the butterfly there, he can be easily pushed in by the skating forward. So you can't fault the goalie there for trying to hold his ground.
I was going to ask, can you push, if the goaltender has the puck, like in his padding, and you push the goaltender in the net?
No, that's exactly what that's why they waved it off.
Yeah.
If the goalie goes into the net on his own accord, but he was planted at the goal line when he made that save. Like if there was no
had he not been pushed,
right? If there was
never
right
been in the net.
If he was already sliding into the goal, they could say yes, his momentum carried him there. Right, but it looked like he had made the save initially outside the goal, and that it triggered. Now, if they see something from the top-down view that we didn't get to see there, like the puck going in the net before he was touched by Baker, then you have a different story. But like I said before,
and as you mentioned, the ref was adamant that it was no goal.
The one thing that we don't see there is if from the top down you can see the puck over the goal line before Baker touches Savory, then you could have an argument for a goal. But it's going to be tough to overturn the call on the ice, as we've seen so many times. You need convincing it. You need to,
convincing, without a doubt.
Yes, exactly. And there is no radio worse, Joe, than people just deliberating over whether a goal is a non-goal or a goal call. I'll tell you that. So we apologize to the folks that have to be listening to this. But there's really nothing else to discuss. Oh, we can go over some scores. That's always fun. I'm sure as soon as I do, they're going to come back out. Anyway, Clarkson leads Yale 2-1 there in the third period. Colgate over Princeton 3-0 late in the third. Quinnipiac 5-0 over Cornell in the third period halfway through. Wow. Some wild scores tonight. Brown 2-0 over St. Lawrence. Harvard 8, Union 4 in Schenectady with 6 minutes to play. Well, it's certainly goal night in ECAC hockey. You got a 5-goal game, a 5-goal lead there. You got a 5-goal lead here in a 8-4 game in Schenectady.
Boy.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a tough weekend for goalies. No goals, says Chip McDonald, and we're back to hockey soon.
And ECAC not known for being one of the higher scoring conferences. That's what makes it so interesting. It all came in the same night.
We get a face-off coming up in the RPI zone. Owen Savory to his left comes the draw. He has made 31 saves on the night, including 15 in the first period. It was almost a perfect first period for him, if not for that goal with a second left in it. Engineers cleared to center, turned around there by Less, and now moved into the far side. Chopped at by Matthews. To center ice off the stick of Baker. Shot back the other way. This is going to be icing on RPI, though Ferguson went out of his net to play it. And so that can't be icing. They're going to throw this at center ice. The goalie leaves his net to play a puck. Even if it was going to be icing, you wave it off. Linesman either didn't see Ferguson or I'm not sure.
Yeah, Ferguson, he's only got 1 game played this season.
Yeah, and only 3
in his career.
Yeah.
So just not thinking right there, but
just a lack of experience there. It was for the sophomore. Center ice draw after the errant icing call. Johnson gonna spin around in the neutral zone. Go across to Hallbauer. Up the wall, off of the Dartmouth stick, into the zone. Now carried in by Linden across. Jerry on his backhand takes the shot, saved by Ferguson. And he squeezes it between the pads to hold on.
And DeGrande again with another great setup there for Jerry. It's they scored on the last goal.
Well, it's been a scoring explosion here for the Engineers. Face-off coming up to the right of Ferguson. Johnson, wrist shot off the end wall. Gornall trying to get away from Paul. Slaps it back to the point. Johnson another try. No, fake a shot. Johnson walking in off the left pad. Gornall battling for it still. Warpeka takes a hit. Leppinen shoots it deep. 5.5 to go in the third period. Seems like it'll never end. It probably seems even longer if you're a Dartmouth fan. Here's Johnson. Fed to the far side, goes through Gornall. He'll pick it up on the other side. Slap back to the point. Nice play. It was partially tied up. A wrist shot deflects wide. Hallbauer now off the back of the net to himself for Leppinen. Back to the point. Hallbauer. Near side Johnson. This feels like a power play. Ashbrook. He'll turn and shoot. That one hit the leg of Leppinen. Jumping into the play is Hallbauer. He goes behind the goal. Gornall picks it up there. Watched by Graber. To the far side again. Polino. Or Hallbauer rather. Takes a tight angle shot and a save by Ferguson. Picked up by Paul. He'll throw it off the glass. Gloved but not corralled by Ashbrook. And now finally to center ice comes Warpeka. He tries to hand it off to Rutherford, but that's intercepted. Picked up there by Hallbauer. Slapped near side by Ashbrook. Tried to return feed. Now Strong trying to jump on it. Rutherford does. Far side circle. Drop pass. One-timer saved by Savory. Rebound loose in the slot is picked up there. Lobbed high in the air. Looking for Polino from Zeke. But it's well read and intercepted by Palisic. And now turned back around at the RPI blue line. Dubinsky. Far side circle. Finds Babachuk just into the zone. He'll take a wrist shot and he scores! Babachuk off the right post and in. It's 7-1 RPI.
Corey posted in. It's his third of the season. And RPI matches their season high in goals with their 7th of the evening. Still 4 minutes to go in the third. RPI crowd absolutely delighted, chanting out just how many goals there were tonight.
RPI goal scored by number 22.
And as you mentioned, RPI just looking like they're on a power play there as of late. Dartmouth looking just absolutely gassed and not much. RPI passing the puck around the zone, finding the opening, and Babachuk able to just walk right in.
Scored by 22 Babachuk, assisted by 14 Dubinsky and 12 Zeke.
I want to point out, Joe, final score in RPI men's basketball tonight. Engineers defeating Skidmore by a score of 78-65. They win their 16th straight game. They're 11-0 in Liberty League play. That ties the school record for most wins to start a league season.
You know, we just honored soccer here tonight.
Yeah, right. We have
for having their best season.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to be a shoo-in for Team of the Year next year at the banquet, but basketball making a great case as to why they could be Team of the Year as well. It's just 2 games shy of that win streak record, and then they've set the Liberty League record as well. Again, just having a phenomenal season here. Got to talk to them on the RPI Athletics podcast this week, and they kind of talked about how they have a lot of team defense. They credit a lot of their success to team defense and not having a superstar.
All right, well, we're back to action here. 2-on-1 for Dartmouth and a save, and the shot there by Urbank. Another shot comes in. That one's blocked. And now with 7:39 left, RPI will move it back the other way. Babachuk shoots it in. To the far side, Dartmouth trying to clear to center once more, and they do. Moved along here by Hessler. Now Urbank. Fed to the middle of the slot. That one's put wide by Gallant. And now taking a hit is Urbank. As Gallant gets dumped over there, fans like that. Shot goes wide from a tight angle, in close by Urbank again. Now into the slot once more. Hessler has it pried away, but gets it back. Hessler turning and shooting into the corner. Chipped up there by Klee and all the way down. Will this be icing? Yes, it will. 2:53 left, an icing call on RPI with the Engineers up 7-1 on Dartmouth.
And I believe they're going to credit Dubinsky with the assist on the Babachuk goal, and that's going to be his 10th point of the season as well. So RPI, again, just showing their scoring depth all over the board.
Face off in the RPI zone. One power play goal for RPI, 6 even strength, 7 different goal scorers, Joe. As the puck is won back into the near corner. And now work towards the blue line. And now shot to the near side point. Paul off the end boards. Picked up behind by O'Connor. Trying to feed it back into the circle. Broken up on the try by Baker. He takes a hit from Herman. Puck goes back behind the goal. Foreman. Now O'Connor. O'Connor looking for a lane. Feeds it back to the point. A shot by Markle goes wide. Baker back up top from Markle. Right back down low. This is a pretty good spell here for Dartmouth, although far too little and far too late. And it's Baker again. Back towards the point. DeGrande separates him from the puck, and Klee fires it down. This is going to be icing again as he got a little bit too much on it. Or will they wave it off? They do. Perfect curling shot there from Mason Klee. As it's turned back around by Linden at center. Breaking into the zone, 3-on-1. Linden centering pass off the skate of Burgess, and they're on to the near side. Burgess trying to move it back to the point. It's turned back around by Foreman. Steps around Johnson. Picked up by Burgess. Good back check there by the senior out of Phoenix, Arizona. Thwarting an odd man rush as one of his defensive teammates have been caught up the ice a bit there in Johnson. Now it's tipped deep by O'Connor. Savory way out of his net to play around to the near side. Chipped up the wall. Lasardo behind the cage. Trying to center, broken up by Savory. That's a good read. Now a shot comes in off a skate, goes all the way into the corner. Warpeka turning and firing down low. Make it Rutherford rather, or it was Warpeka. And now back comes RPI. Morello leading a 2-on-1 with Hallbauer. Good play there defensively. Turning him around was Campbell, although he gives it away to Linden who shoots it in. 1 minute to go in the third. RPI up by 6. Shot to the far side, neutral ice. Engineers matching a season high for goals in a game with 7. As they chip it deep, 39 seconds to go. Canisius back in October. To the near side now. Dartmouth, nice move there to get out of the zone for Demler. They'll move it into the RPI zone. Strong trying to center. Saved by Savory. Juggled the puck. He wanted to fire it, but that was too late. Now he takes a bit of a slash there from Strong, and now Savory just skates away as his teammates come to his support.
Yeah, and that's Riley there getting fired up, protecting his netminder.
I think Savory was just trying to run out the clock, so he trying to put the puck down and play it. The whistle went. Strong, I'm not sure what he even did. He just kind of stuck his stick in there. All of it was completely unnecessary on both sides. Anyway, 22.2 left. We're going to have a little more hockey left here.
Yeah, I think Savory, I think you're right. He was just trying to run out the clock there. I don't think he was trying to, maybe he was trying to score.
Well, there's a goalie at the other end of the ice, so I don't think he was going to score.
Yeah.
Puck deep in RPI territory. Here's Chelberg. He'll wrap it far side with 12 seconds to go. Tipped out of the zone. Moved ahead by Gornell. Gornell walks in and takes a shot over the top, and that'll just about do it. 4 seconds to go. Moved ahead by Rutherford. Drop pass there. There's your final horn. RPI is going to win this one 7-1. They move to 8-7-1 in the league, and they pick up 2 big points against Dartmouth. which a team they will face later this year. So you want to take care of business at home if you want to have any chance of making it into that top 4, but even to make it into the middle 4, the home ice in the first round spots, big 2 points right there.
Yeah, big 2 points, especially because, as you mentioned, Dartmouth is a very, very strong home team. They've only lost 1 game at home all year. And meanwhile, RPI 4-7-0, now 5-7-0 at home. Not the strongest home team, but starting to get better and better as the season goes on. They'll continue to try and get their home record better tomorrow night with the Big Red Freakout. They'll certainly have the home ground advantage. But the next time RPI plays Dartmouth, you can imagine that Big Green's gonna come out swinging. They're not gonna like the fact that they really just they got outplayed tonight. RPI was stronger on the forecheck. They were stronger on the puck. Their passes connected better. And at home, Big Green is not going to want to get embarrassed. They're going to come back, and they're going to be a strong team because they are one of the top teams in the ECAC, and they're one of the top teams in the country as well.
Absolutely right, Joe. On the run of the scoring, you can come up your offensive and defensive engineers of the game. You'll have plenty of time to do so. So, leading things off, we have Tour Linden at 16:57 of the first period from Will Riley and Todd Burgess. Made it 1-0 RPI. Dartmouth tied it up with less than a second left in the opening frame. Quinn Foreman from Matt Baker and Drew O'Connor made it 1-1. Then it was Burgess from Rory Herman and Tour Linden. Turned out to be the game-winning goal. It came at 5:39 of the second. But RPI was too busy to worry about that. They scored 2 more times in the next minute 31, including a goal at 6:59. Patrick Polino's 8th of the year from Chase Zeke and Zach Dubinsky. 11 seconds after that, it was Tristan Ashbrook from Mike Gornell and Corey Babachuk. And then at 7:05 of the third, Otto Ville-Lappinen scored his 2nd goal of the year from Kyle Hallbauer and Mike Gornell on the power play. That was RPI's lower power play tally. Billy Jerry made it 6-1 with a give and go from Danny DeGrande. Jake Morello picked up the secondary assist there. And then with exactly 16 minutes of the third period, Corey Babachuk from Zach Dubinsky and Chase Zeke capped the scoring. 7-1 RPI winners tonight. Owen Savory, 35 saves. His 4th win of the month. His 7th win overall. He made double-digit saves in each period. He picks up the win. Adrian Clark took the loss. He made 5 saves over 47 minutes and 5 seconds. No, sorry, he gave him 5 goals on 30 saves. Not the other way around. 47:05 on the clock for him. Justin Ferguson gave up 2 goals on 7 shots in the final 13 minutes of the game. Joe, who do you got?
So on offense, it's a team effort. I'm looking at the stats right now, and the RPI had six players with a 2-point game. So it's hard to give it to one player, but I think that just that line of Lappinen, Ashbrook, and Gornell do a phenomenal job of carrying it out. And then on defense, I'm going to give it to Owen Savory, making 35 saves. And he made some timely saves as well. So that's going to be the offensive and defensive engineers of the game. We'd like to make a couple announcements. First, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union, which provides the funding for WRPI and all club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. A reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org, and you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so long as WRPI is broadcasting. We will provide the broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that is WRPI.org. Recruitment. WRPI Sports is seeking current RPI students to make live calls of RPI athletic events such as this one. There are opportunities this season to get on the air for men's and women's hockey. For more information or express interest, contact us at WRPI-sports at rpi.edu. We'd like to thank the intermission guests here tonight and everyone else who got us on the air. We'd like to thank you people back at the station for getting the game on the air. And then the next hockey game will be tomorrow night. It's the Big Red Freakout. We've mentioned it multiple times. It's going to be starting at 7 o'clock here at the Houston Fieldhouse. RPI is playing Vermont. That will be your next broadcast on WRPI. As well as next weekend, Perry will be traveling out to Western Michigan to give you RPI's road trip against one of the top teams in the NCHC. Those games will also be broadcasted on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. On behalf of Perry, we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. And the final score from the Houston Fieldhouse in Troy, New York is RPI 7 and Dartmouth 1. And you've been listening to live coverage of Engineer Hockey on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy.